Constellation, Last Stand Media's conversational podcast, is brought to you by you. If you want to learn how to support our podcast network, head to patreon.com/laststandmedia.
Welcome back, Constellation Nation, to the greatest conversational podcast on Earth. Hey, we're getting there. Rome wasn't built in a day. I'm your host, Dagan Dagster Moriarty, and let me introduce you around to my fellow Romans, starting with Last Stand Media's favorite female. Oh, you like wild takes? You have come to the right place. Mama Micah Moriarty, boys and girls. Hi, Micah.
Hello. Dagan, I had an idea recently centered around you. I hope you'll forgive me. It's a little morbid. Funerals have been on my mind recently.
Oh, sure.
And
understandable.
Dagan, I have started planning yours. And the whole idea, all right, Dagan, my beloved brother-in-law, should you pass before me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to gather the family around and I'm going to say, Dagan left us this DVD and it says that we all have to watch it 1 week after he dies. Right. And everyone's going to gather around and we're all going to, sit together. And what's going to happen is it's going to hopefully be a cameo of the Bare Naked Ladies singing It's Been 1 Week Since You Buried Me. And that is... That's my plan, Dagan. Should you pass before me, you better hope that you don't. Otherwise, I'm gonna do that. The family's gonna be livid. I can only imagine the response. I'll be like, Dagan wanted us to see this. They're gonna be like, I can't believe him.
They're mad about so many other things too, so they're gonna have to fit that
into. Well, for that, there's like no better time to play it. I can't hear it.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, please have at it.
Chickadee China.
The Chinese chicken.
Oh, I'm already getting aggravated. Stop. I am still alive right now. No. I'll tell you guys something morbid. Never told another human being this in my life, but I've thought this is so morbid to start the show with, but I've thought this since I was a little kid. For some reason, I don't even know where this came from. It's terrible, and I hope it's not true. But I always had this sense that I was going to die when I was 58. I don't know why I think that, or even what was the impetus of starting to think that as a kid. So if that's true, you'll be doing this very plan in about 7 years.
Wow, 58. That's young.
It's too young.
Now, I think there's a few things that the family will be like, wow, he left you this to show us, not his kids, not Helene, not his brother.
I mean, Dagan and I think Dagan and I have quite the rapport, know. Sure. What I could do is make a series of them, and everybody gets one. That'd be less suspicious,
right? Put it together like some sort of like Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Got to have a bunch of pieces to it.
Why are you ruining the plan before I even get it off the ground? I don't even know if they're on Cameo. I got to figure that out first. I highly
doubt they're on Cameo. They're famous.
They might be bored. There's a lot of people on Cameo that I'm like, I'm surprised you're doing this, but I think you're just bored at home.
They're kind of dead to me because, I loved Bare Naked Ladies as a kid, and I still love those first few records. Those first few records are insanely good. Gordon is an absolutely phenomenal record. Highly recommended front to back, but they have two singers. What about some of my favorite bands have two singers? It's interesting. And one of them was kicked out of the band like 10, 12 years ago for maybe even a little longer now for coke use. Oh, and they're not they still play all their stuff, but they did get together because they were inducted into the Canadian Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they did play together once since then, but like as the original band. But I'm like, I don't like this 4-piece that you guys got going on now.
I think Bare Naked Ladies will be fine if you fired everybody, did completely different music, and named it something else.
Right. You hate everything about it.
I think it would be totally fine.
You hate everything about it. Mm-hmm. It's interesting, Dig. I think they're like a really... The album you're talking about is Stunt, which was their biggest record, but a lot of people didn't like, a lot of fans didn't like that record. But their early stuff is... You don't like if you have...
Oh, where does that fall in? That falls into
that's like their fourth or fifth record.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
You think they would have been better by then?
No, I mean a lot of bands release like shit albums randomly. Like when Green Day released that record Warning, which came out in 2000, I was like, this album sucks. Like, where did this come from? You know, really weird. You give us like Kerplunk, Dookie, Insomniac, Nimrod, and then Warning. A warning it was, nonetheless.
Yeah.
But Mike, I like the energy, like the ball busting energy of punking somebody on the way out. Because it's that thing of like, I wouldn't tease you if I didn't love you. Like if I wasn't thinking about you, if I was apathetic, then I just wouldn't even have any exchanges with you.
No. So how better to deal with my grief of losing my brother-in-law than to prank the whole family with a spoof of the Bare Naked Ladies, and just see how that plays out.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll all love it.
I'll be in an urn of ash. I'll be in an urn.
Can you imagine, because here's the thing, like picturing like who could possibly be there and just be like just picturing like Aunt Carla just like losing her mind right now. Like, what is this? Like, just really, he left this for us? Like, it would be hysterical.
I will tell you this. I hate that song. I'm not going to say Bare Naked Ladies in general, but that particular song so much that even in powder form in the urn, I may be aggravated if I heard it.
Damn.
I think I'll still hear it.
It's resonating the quarks and the nuance.
It's a strong distaste. But that being said, you have my permission to have at it. Listen, I hope it's not when I'm 58. Let me ask you guys this, though. Right? 58. Most modern humans could expect to live longer than that as long as you maintain some semblance of health, right? But if you had the choice, let's say you were 10 and somebody came to you and said, look, I don't know what's going to happen. You could either die at 58 or take a crapshoot, you know what I mean? Take a chance on living shorter or longer, or you could definitely live until 58. What would you do? It's the perfect age.
Yeah, no longer. There's so much more to do. At
you would
58,
take a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's what life's all about, baby.
Yeah, you got to roll the dice.
Okay. What about you, Micah? It's a tough one.
Well, it is because, 58, man, like that's almost 60. I'd have to live my whole life over again, basically. That's a long time.
It's a good run.
That's a lot. Because the chance on it being, fewer years, I might take the 58. I was also the one, though, when we previously on Constellation, when we had the death clock conversation, I was the only one who said I'd want to know when I was going to die. So
that's outrageous.
You're not supposed to. That's insane.
I think I would take the 58, just to get that guarantee, because if I know, then I'm going to do all the stuff I want to do before then,
That is a good way of looking at it. I'm not mad at that.
Yeah, now we're getting into the Pink Floyd song Time again. But hey, you have to kind of manage yourself here a little bit. No, dude, I've said it before on the shows that a Ouija board told me I was going to die when I was 23, when I was maybe 10 or 11 or something like that. And my friend Tim, do you know Tim?
Of course.
It told him he was going to die when he was 56.
Oh.
Now, when I still think about that. Like when I was 23, because I had just moved to San Francisco, I was kind of new to San Francisco. I thought about it every once in a while. I'm like,
No, you debunked it.
Yeah, and then it didn't happen. But the Ouija board definitely told me that. It definitely told me that.
You just died inside.
Well, yeah, that might have been when that's actually a good point. That's actually a good point. That might have been when I died inside.
Yeah, your spirit.
Because I did have a different spirit, like a more rebellious, carefree.
San Francisco
I was very Colin. I was very Colin, but I also wasn't very Colin.
Yeah.
I'm going to leave everyone a big surprise when I die and be like, I actually spent all my money and sold all my assets. See you later.
On G.I. Joe cards.
Yeah, everything's gone. Everyone now gets to live in destitution around me.
That does happen. That happens. People do that.
Yeah,
their fortunes, they're just so I don't know, that spite or, that
it's called boomers.
It really is.
Not sharing anything with their children.
It really is.
And not going away.
As Tim Dillon has pointed
in the
out.
exact opposite direction that everyone else is voting. It was so fascinating with the Canadian election.
True.
Did you see that with the Canadian election? That 18 to 54 overwhelmingly voted for that Pierre Poilievre guy, or whatever the hell his name is. Right. And then only old people voted for Mark Carney, and he won. It's like,
Wow.
I don't give a shit what they do in Canada, but it's like, it's pretty rough. Maybe we should cut people off once they're like 60. Once you start living off the government, you don't get the vote anymore.
Okay.
But what if you paid the government?
You paid the government and had a voice. Once you begin siphoning, I think in the United States, if you live off of the government in any way, you just shouldn't vote.
Okay.
That
There's
will
one for
encourage
dying
you.
at 58.
That will encourage you. Maybe
To work till you die.
and I would love to raise the voting age as well. But
No, we're
that's a
not
whole
getting into
that's a
this
whole nother-
again.
This is a
no,
whole other
no.
topic.
This is like, no, we're not talking about the voting age again, for God's sakes.
Kyle, here's
Too
your
many.
intro for today. You
Yeah,
ready?
please.
Next up, I give you his biggest claim to fame. Now, I would argue being Micah's husband.
Yeah,
Right? That seems about
I was
right.
gonna say podcast beyond, but yeah, okay.
Okay, all right.
I've never seen it.
Either way, never heard of it. Kyle and Chowderman Moriarty. What's going on, Kyle?
Not much. I'm looking at the Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition trophy list that was just posted. 331 bronze trophies.
Oh my God.
What? Holy moly.
Nice.
No silver trophies, no gold trophies, one platinum trophy.
That's insane.
What?
That is insane.
That's a kick in the ribs.
Yeah.
I'm well, it's good to be here with you guys today. It's hot out. I was just walking the dog briefly. Didn't stay out there for too long. I planted some flowers I'm in the zone now. Got some verbena growing. We got some Gerber daisies out there looking beautiful, orange, yellow, red.
In the ground or in the pots?
The daisies are in pots. The verbena, both young and old verbena, are in around the mailbox in the ground and around the stairs in the ground. We have little baskets. I ran out of soil, so I need to go get more soil after this today. Probably get a few more flowers as well. It's just that time of year, love being out there, love making the yard look good. I was saying on Sacred Symbols, I already got 6 mows in this year.
Wow,
6
that's a
mows.
lot. Really?
The grass is roaring right now. But feeling good to be back. We were in Massachusetts last weekend, so it's good to be back. Micah and I are we always say we share the same brain cell. I mean, this is why we get along so well, is because we're just very similar in a lot of weird ways. And one of the weird ways is that trips ruin our lives. Like,
How long were you guys away? How many days?
Oh, like 2.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all it was.
It was like we left on a Friday, we got back on a Sunday. But
Okay.
weeks leading into it, you could just read it on Micah's face. It's like, oh my God, we got to go do this thing. And I got to go do this thing. But I was good. I had a nice time meeting a lot. I know a lot of her family, but I was meeting new people and talking to people. And let's be honest, being very overdressed at the
Oh, is that
at the
right?
funeral, which is good. I'd rather be overdressed.
I know.
Rather be overdressed than underdressed.
Okay.
Met a dog
Yeah.
named Roxy. That was fun.
Yeah. You
Met
got to meet
a
dog.
cat named Billy.
Yes.
Oh, nice. That's a great name.
It's a great. He was sweet. And
His-
see where Micah was from. It was really cool. It was so bucolic and interesting. I love New England, dude. And I don't mean Connecticut and like Rhode Island. Those don't count. But Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine. Oh my God. Beautiful country up there.
It is pretty. I
think we'll end up there for sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you were taking pictures of the gravestones.
Yeah, dude,
Like, there's
dude.
a really old cemetery near my grandma's house.
Dude,
Like, and you
literally-
were like, look at this.
Dude, I mean, this is
Ancient, right?
no one's going to give a shit about this except for me. But there was an old graveyard from the 17 and 1800s, like right next to our parents' house. And there's a gravestone. I just took a picture of it because I was like, this is fucking crazy. Alia C. Phillips, Sergeant of Company E, 10th Regiment, Massachusetts, volunteers, mortally wounded at the Battle of Gettysburg,
No.
July 4th, and died October 4th, 1863, aged 21 years. This
That's
is the-
incredible.
Dang.
I was like, I took the picture because I was like, I want to look at the order of battle and see if I can actually find him, which I'm sure I would because he seems like he's an officer. But it's like, I was like, this is fucking crazy. This is real America. And Virginia's real America too.
Sure,
it was
it
just
is, yeah.
fucked up so badly during the Civil War that
Right.
there's a lot of old things here, but not nearly to the extent of that. Because I was
a good
actually
point.
making one of her family members laugh because I was like, General Sherman was walking across the South, burning entire cities down.
I tell my
Like
kids that all
literally
the
just
time.
fucking it all up.
Yeah.
And that's why Savannah, which she almost went to school in Savannah, is so special because he didn't do that to Savannah. So he actually took Savannah from the Confederates and then sent a message to Lincoln and presented it to him. Like I present to you Savannah, this beautiful city. And that's why it's so unique there, because it's actually still old, because Sherman didn't burn it to the fucking ground.
Yeah, it's a beautiful wow, that's incredible. I never knew that.
Like Atlanta famously was burned to the ground.
Burned to the ground, yeah. Tell my kids that all the time.
Yeah.
Micah, how do you feel about, because some people would protest. Some people don't want to go back and revert back to where they grew up. Some people just want to kind of move on. How do you feel about going back near to where you spent your childhood?
Oh, I love it there.
Okay.
I am only here like because I met Colin. I am the weirdo who did just like I loved my hometown and I just adore that area. So I mean, I was willing to go wherever Colin wanted to go because he's that special to me. But I love being in the Northeast. And, you know, I miss it. I miss the cold, the scenery. I mean, just being at my parents' house and just, you know, overlooking like the forests and everything. Like, I miss that, you know. But I'm hoping, so my dad wants to take Colin ice fishing next winter. So that would be a fun trip to do. And we should try to, you know, pencil that in somewhere. The season's really from like December to March usually. So we have a big window of time, and that'd be fun. You know, bring the ice skates and
I want to just skate around.
Fishing.
You guys can do fishing. I want to skate
right.
around.
That makes sense.
Well, yeah, there'll be soup and cocoa and all that. It's a good time.
Yeah, I really like her dad. And
he's a nice guy.
They just have an incredible, I was like, you really undersold this place in some way. Like this is a pretty incredible spot. Their house is from the 1840s.
Oh, really?
Damn.
Holy shit.
And which I was like, this is so cool. Like, you know, I was like, dude, I would die to have like a house like this. Although it is incredibly expensive because you have to constantly do shit to it.
Sure, yeah.
And there's old shit like that all over the place up there. That's what I love, and that's old for us in the US. You know, so
absolutely it is.
That's like pre-Civil War even. I was like, it's just an incredible space. And then I was like chain smoking Black and Milds because
really?
I love Black and Milds, and I usually only do that in Vegas, but Micah's dad's friend Bruce was there and he was smoking Black and Milds. So I was bumming him off of him, and then I went and bought them to replace them. And then it was just but they have like this beautiful scene behind this, like a mountain, like a small New England mountain, but a mountain covered in beautiful trees and foliage and all this just out in their backyard. And I was just like sitting there smoking and just looking at this thing. I was like, this is incredible. You know?
Yeah, Mike, I think you did. I think you have undersold it a little bit.
Oh, well, to be fair, that's not my childhood home. That's my grandparents' house where my dad grew up. My childhood home is in the neighboring town, and it is a shithole. And you walk down the street and there's heroin needles on the sidewalk, right? My hometown is not a nice place.
Nice.
But you drive about 15 minutes and you're in the countryside and the forest. And that is quite peaceful. And I love it out there. But like where my childhood home is not very nice. We didn't get to go see that, though. I wanted to kind of drive you out there, but we just didn't really have time.
Yeah, you got that was a quick trip.
That's not so nice.
Dude,
or the other thing, like the convenience of it. I told Colin, I was like, you should probably bring some snacks for the hotel because like nothing is open late. And he's like, oh, we could like order a pizza or something. And I was like, the pizza place closes at 8. like there's nothing open except the Cumberland Farms, you know, like 15 minutes away.
Cumbies.
So like just be aware that if you want something late at night, that is the only option.
That's what they call it, Brad. They call it Cumbies.
It is Cumbies.
Cumbies,
Yeah.
I'm sure they do. Yeah,
They definitely
really
do. But
I know.
But I loved Cumberland Farms when I was a kid. It's not it's green and blue now, but when I was a kid, it was orange and blue, and it reminded me of the
Yes.
Islanders. So I really liked it. It was like kind of like the Mets as well, I guess. But
They changed that over, and Neighbors doesn't exist anymore. It's very different.
But anyway, it was really cool. Like I don't know how much that property is worth, but it's worth a lot of money, I would assume. And it's super cool. So yeah, I'm here for Mom, like at this point, Virginia, which is good. You know, I want to be here for a while. And but yeah, I am totally amenable to moving. I mean, I would love to live on Long Island. It's just I'm not gonna pay that. I'm not paying the entry fee to move to Long Island. And
It's
I'm
gotten
not,
pretty nutty.
I mean, it's crazy.
It's
and
nutty.
I'm not paying the property tax. Dad moved to the Hamptons to pay less property tax and still pays something like $25,000 a year.
Oh, it's nuts.
Can you imagine that?
It's on a national average.
$25,000 in taxes.
It's unbelievable.
You're buying a car every year, essentially.
Yeah.
And you don't get the car at the end.
And somehow that's cheaper than Brookhaven.
Yeah.
Like, which is like, dude, our school system sucks.
But that's another thing. By the way, the school system may or may not be good.
It's bad.
It's
Long
completely
Island,
arbitrary.
Newsday, Long Island's paper, I brought this up before, publishes like the order of everyone's scores, like all the information every year of all the schools on Long Island, and we're always like last.
Oh, among the last. 100%.
And
Yeah.
all of our people make like the most money because they also
Yeah,
publish that.
taxes
And then
don't
that was my favorite
correlate.
thing is be like, how much does Mr. X make? And then you'd like be able to look it up. I loved that they did that to the teachers. The Newsday hated the teachers so much.
Yeah, it was kind of a combative.
Yeah, like do you remember? It was a supplement that they would publish, like in a Sunday, like they would be full, but it would be like inside, like the Sunday paper. You'd take it out as like, here's what all the teachers make and how everyone's scores are. It's like, oh, good.
It's true though. It didn't necessarily. Long Island still to this day, it doesn't necessarily like the tax rates in the various jurisdictions don't necessarily correlate with the quality of the school district or even location. It doesn't mean you're on the water. You could be inland in the middle of the island and still be paying $30,000 in taxes.
It's just crazy. It's like,
it's very strange.
So even if I bought a house like I would never live in Nassau, but somewhere in Suffolk, it's like, yeah, then I have to fucking pay all this money to stay here.
You got to really.
I love the island, but I'm not doing that. I'm just not gonna do it.
Yeah,
so
I do understand that.
That's all right. I don't like the water, so this is
definitely not for you.
Exactly.
Can't go too
You
far.
can't. I think you can only be. What is it, Dick? I think you can only be like 6.5 miles from the water at any place on the island.
Yeah, it's something unbelievable.
And we grew up like literally on the water, so.
Yeah, we're so congested.
Born in the water.
Yeah.
I was molded by it.
You could be 7 miles from the water and it could still take you 3 hours. That's how crowded it is, just for some perspective. I mean, Long Island is millions and millions of people. It's
a conundrum. I was explaining to someone too. I don't know. Maybe it was one of your family members you were talking and he's like, so like, what's, and I was like, it's Trump country. That's the other ironic part of Long Island is like,
that's generally true.
It's Trump country. It's in New York. It's next to New York City, but pretty deeply Republican.
Mm-hmm.
And yet it's really big government and like really expensive. It's a really strange place.
Yeah.
But so I think we'll end up in like Vermont or New Hampshire, Maine, something like that.
Interesting.
I love Maine. Maine's fucking dope.
Yeah, it's a pretty state.
Vermont's dope though. New Hampshire's dope. The thing with New Hampshire though is like it is no income tax, no state sales tax, or no sales tax, but high property taxes. It's got to come from somewhere. And I didn't experience that as a kid. I loved it when I lived there as a kid because I was like, oh, the GI Joe is literally $4. Like it's literally $3.99. They'll give you a penny back.
Right.
They'll give you a fucking penny back when you buy it. But someone else was paying all the taxes and it was mom in the house and in her car and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, sure.
And the toll roads. I mean, New Hampshire's all about toll roads. So
that's how they get you.
Anyway, good to be here, and I'm happy to be back. And sorry I wasn't able to be here last week, but that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Did you get a lot of complaints about that?
No, not really. I mean, I think people understood. We had to go to a funeral, and that's the way it goes.
I tried to lay the groundwork like in like 2 weeks in advance, mentioning like several times that we were going to a funeral, hoping that people wouldn't be jerks about it.
Pick up on that. Listen, Kyle said he'll be generally 3 for 4.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah,
and he's arrived at that. He's been true to his word, right?
When I'm not on Summon Sign, I'll be on here.
Smart.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want. I don't want to. I think some people are a little tired of me, and I think I'm not trying to be like self-deprecate and then be like, no, you're great. No, I really do believe that like there are people that are like, yeah, enough is enough, and also give people like other people an opportunity to shine. I don't want it to all hinge on me all the time, stressing me out. Good to be here,
folks. Last, never least, the pride of Summon Sign. Some may say the pride of Last Stand Media. I certainly wouldn't protest. Bradley, if you're nasty, Ellis, everyone. Oh. What's up, Brad?
Hello. I feel like. So I'm with the Moriartys. I feel like I went over to a friend's house for dinner.
Yeah,
and like the family's fighting, and I'm just sitting there. That's what it feels like. It's great. I'm happy to be here, though.
You should see how dysfunctional it is when we're all actually together.
Yeah,
you don't even know the most dysfunctional people in my family.
Yeah.
But one day, maybe. Well, one day maybe you will.
One day, maybe. That'd be pretty interesting. Yeah.
When Mike and I adopt you.
Oh, okay. I can play hockey with you, Colin. I can play Mega Man with you.
I would love that. I'd love to have a son.
You could be out at the grill with me.
I'd love to have a son that's 4 years younger than me. It would be awesome.
There's something really cool about that.
Yeah.
I kind of agree. And now I feel really bad for you, Brad. You are with the Moriarty clan, and it could get a little wild.
Well, it's okay.
Clan with a C, just to be clear.
Just to be clear, clan with the C. I can talk to Uncle Dagan. That'll be sweet. Talk about animation or something.
Can
find something to bond with everybody about.
Come here, little boy.
Yeah, come here, little Bradley.
By the way, Brad, I meant to ask you when you played Mega Man 5, because we talked about Mega Man 5, classic game on Summon Sign. I realized I never asked you this. What order did you fight in? Like, who did you jump into?
I think Charge Man was the first guy I went to.
Wow, interesting, cool.
I don't know the order that you like.
I forget who's in that game.
By the time you get to Mega Man 5, the order is like, it's not like one of these things where it's like, oh, go this way, and then this kind of, it's like Mega Man 2 or whatever. It's like you really just jump in, and then it's chain. So, Charge Man, that's interesting. He's tall. He's hard to jump over. Yeah.
I don't even remember.
I just thought he was funny because he's a goofy train. And I was like, I got to fight this guy.
He's awesome. Yeah, Starman is the good place to jump in my opinion.
Yeah, that's what I saw afterwards. Because I always look afterwards to see what the intended order is, I guess, usually. Like, Starman. He's one of the last ones I took down.
Starman's awesome. What a great character.
Yeah.
Charge Man's the train guy.
Yeah. He's awesome.
He's cool. I remember him. He's really neat. Yeah, very cool. Oh, that's cool. You guys were talking about that classic on Summon Sign recently? Oh, that's cool.
Whenever Colin's on it, I try to go through a Mega Man game at least.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm slowly
cool.
going through them all.
The autism runs so deep, it's crazy. Like, you have to engage me on my terms.
Yeah, I step into his house right there, and it's very intense.
So you haven't done 6 yet, Brad?
No, 6 is next.
That's a heavy
I've played them before, but the only one I haven't played before is 7, but it's been so long since I've played through them all. So they're all like almost new to me again.
Yeah, 7 is kind of dubious in my opinion, but they're all great. 6 is awesome. 6 is an awesome game though. I'm so excited for you. I've been thinking about doing playthroughs of the games I think you should do
that.
Oh, that would be cool.
You absolutely should do that.
People would love that.
Yeah, they're so good, like they're so fun.
Yeah,
that's content.
6.
That's
content.
That's content.
That is content. You're right. You're absolutely right, Bradley. You're a good boy.
Thanks.
Now come on out, Bradley. I'll show you my burger method, my secret technique.
Nice. Yeah.
Hey, is that what you're doing tonight?
No. Tonight,
oh no, you're making the brisket tonight. Or not the brisket, the pork wrapped
bacon wrapped pork tenderloin. Yes.
Whoa.
What?
We're gonna try that out.
Wow.
Brad, you gotta start packing your bags. You might even do it on camera.
I know.
What are you waiting for?
Go to the Moriarty house. Wow.
Our lives are comical. I will say, I mean, this has been a running theme though, if you don't mind me saying this, is because we did The Last of Us season 2 episode 3, and then we did Sacred Symbol. So I mentioned in some both places is that Treble has been sick this week.
Okay.
But we've come through now where we have Micah, take it away. What's going on with our dog Treble?
Oh, so yeah, Treble started on Monday, limping around her front right paw. She couldn't put it down. She was yelping in pain if I tried to pick her up to, take her down the stairs because she doesn't do the stairs on her own. I took her to urgent care, spent a couple hours there. They did x-rays and said they couldn't determine the exact cause, but they could see something was wrong with her spine. It was narrowing. So I ended up taking her to a neurologist for an MRI, and they determined that she has 2 dehydrated discs in her spine, and she also has pockets of fluid in her spine that they think she was born with.
Oh.
Because of the placement of the pockets, they're like, this isn't indicative of an injury. We think that she was born with these, essentially.
Okay.
So surgery is an option long term, but it's quite invasive and they don't want to do that yet. So right now we're just starting her on a course of anti-inflammatory medication and bed rest. She's already so much better. She wants to run around. She wants to play. We have to keep her calm. But she's already doing better, which is a great sign that we can put the surgery off for a while. But yeah, she's going to be okay. It's not life-threatening. There was a condition they had told us about that could have been life-threatening. Luckily, it's not that. But it's not great news, but she is going to be fine, and she should have still a perfectly happy, long life. She might be on medication. It's essentially dog ibuprofen, and she might be on that, for life now.
That's not bad.
And she's getting acupuncture.
She is getting acupuncture.
Really? Whoa.
She's going to do that once a week for a couple weeks. It's supposed to like increase the blood flow to the area. And the thing is that, yeah, she got that treatment yesterday and she was really feeling better. You could
Little
just tell.
hipster dog.
Yeah, I know. I
love
was
it.
like, look at you. You're so posh. You're getting this, fancy, treatments over here. It's like, meanwhile, I'm begging my insurance company to let me go to the doctor, but my dog gets acupuncture.
How old is Treble now?
She's going to be 4 in July.
She's young. She's gonna bounce
the
right
thing.
back.
Mm-hmm.
It's very worth like the money to have gotten the MRI and do the diagnostics because she's only 3. Would we take the same course of action if she was 12? Like, probably not. But she's only 3 years old. And people are like, oh, it's crazy to spend that much on a dog. And it's like, she's 3.
And she's a living creature under our care. Like, I don't know what people don't understand. I don't understand what people don't understand about that.
Well, absolutely. But it's also like, bro, she's only 3 years old. We hope to have 10 more years with her.
Sure.
Like, this is way too early to throw in the towel and
Dude,
be like,
that's so reasonable.
Yeah.
Let me ask you guys this. This will get me aggravated because I know you have a very good health insurance policy for the petties.
Yeah.
Now, they're kind of reimbursing you accordingly. They're doing.
Dude, they're amazing.
Dude.
Oh,
yeah.
Dude,
So
why the fuck? Don't I have this?
They're amazing. I'm just going to say, they've paid thousands of dollars towards this.
Healthy Paws?
Yeah.
8 years. They haven't done one thing.
That's
crazy.
They just
keep upping the premium.
I keep saying this, like we keep bringing this up because, and someone had, I don't know if Micah, if you've seen in the comments, like someone's spouse or sister or someone works for Trupanion is like, dude, it's so funny you keep bringing up how good Trupanion is because I have someone that's been working there forever. And I'm like, they're
really
great.
I gotta
like, it's shocking. It's shocking. That they're actually just being like, yeah, here it is. Like,
no
it's not even a day where you have to
asked.
talk to someone or like using health insurance, like human health insurance. Like, yeah, we need this, this, and this. And they're like, yeah, all right. Yeah, we'll just pay it.
Yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah, I mean,
it's good for you guys.
I did the math, Dagan, and at this point for Treble, they have paid us more than we have paid in premiums. So,
so that's good.
For the
that's
first
great.
time in human history, we have come out ahead of a health insurance plan.
Damn.
And,
Not
obviously
bad.
she's very young, so it'll probably flip again in the future, but they literally have already paid us more than we've paid in. It's
that's
astounding.
This is one of the great. And I'm not even being facetious at all because you deal with so many different companies and entities, and some are good and some are bad. Like, this is one of the great companies I've ever dealt with. Like, period. One of the great companies.
Yeah, that's a great testimonial. I mean, Micah said it. You guys are coming out ahead on insurance, any kind of insurance. That's very rare. It's really paying off. So that's, you don't want the pets to be in that situation, but if it is, that's why you have it.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Talking to someone in the Discord last night and he had said, like, I would prefer to just pay the premiums and never need to use it. But it's great to know that it's a good company. And I was like, exactly, because ideally my dog would never get sick. And I would say, well, that was a waste of money. But like, that's the ideal because you don't want your dog to get sick.
Sure.
But getting your money's worth and your dog also being okay. Now that's great.
Can't beat it. I mean, come on. That's it. Yeah, that's they should sponsor the shows. I mean, why not? You guys, it's a company you guys stand behind, right?
I'll do some ads.
Yeah, why not? I wish I knew about them when I got pet insurance 8 years ago. They were supposed to be the best. Yeah, I mean, and our dog is healthy. She's also a lot older. She's going to be 8 this year, but she's never really had any real issues. But anything out of the ordinary, they're just like, nope. And they just keep raising the premium. It's like, what am I pay? I don't understand. But now it's kind of like it's too late to change it because you've had it since day one.
Yeah, you got to kind of stick with it. It's a sunk cost fallacy.
We're stuck in.
But it's
you're getting scammed the whole way,
inside and out.
And you're like, well, I just got to write it out. We just got to stick it with. We just got to stick it with them.
That's it. And I used to
never change insurance.
Any of my neighbors, I have some pretty wealthy neighbors, a lot wealthier than I am, that were like almost to a person were like, fuck it. Like, I'm not getting pet insurance. And now they look like they were the right ones. You know what I mean? Like, they look like they were absolutely correct.
But it's just, to me, I'm like,
it's a crapshoot.
Yeah. Like, also pet insurance is really, it's affordable if you get them in early.
Yes.
And Michael will tell you, like, the first thing I did when I got Treble was I was like, Trupanion, like literally 7 weeks, 3 days, I think. Because they mark that down and that like plays into your premium. If you try to get in later, it becomes
really
like onerously expensive. But you have to stay consistent. And that's how they get you. It's a great business. but when push comes to shove, they pay out. And dude, I was reading like some of their stuff where they're like, they say things where I'm like, I can't believe an insurance company is saying this. Like, actually, it's in my, because they recently raised Rush's premium because he turned 5 or whatever. So it's 40. It went from 42 to 49 a month or whatever. But where is it here? Yeah, here it is. And they say things like, we want you to like use the insurance. We didn't raise the price because you used it. This happens to everyone because of this, and this. And whether you use it once or 100 times, your premium's not going to go up for that reason. Like, we want you to use it. And as I was saying on another show, which I think is so remarkable, and I know this is redundant because people have heard me say it, but I just can't believe we don't do it like this. Although I can, because health insurance is a fucking scam. But pet insurance is or at least Trupanions by injury. So like if Treble continues to have problems with her back for the rest of our lives, we have already paid like the copay or the deductible. And it's not by year or timing, it's by the injury. So now they'll just pay 90% of all of it forever.
For that one thing.
And then but then if she has a problem with like her left leg or something, then that starts the clock on the left leg injury. And then we pay the first.
Yeah. That makes sense.
So I'm like, this is an incredible.
That's clean. And
they're apparently a vibrant, valuable company. So it all works. It's pretty cool. You know, like I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it.
Yeah, it's very rare for a company like that to be, but you know, to be that approachable, that friendly, that accessible. It seems like it would pay off just by word of mouth nowadays, just with social media alone. That people are like, this is a company that you should like. We're talking to people, thousands of people right now, hopefully, right? You need pet insurance. They're going to look into Trupanion instead of Healthy Paws. Sorry, Healthy Paws, but you know what I mean? Show me something. Right. Give me all you got, Healthy Paws. But yeah, but you guys made the right decision. So that's good. And I'm glad things are on the up and up with Treble.
Yes.
Is Rush sort of kind of being the mother bear type? She worried about her a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He definitely knows something.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, when she came home and she was like a little weird from the anesthesia, and he was definitely like sniffing her, you know, a little more and like sitting with her, which was very cute.
He was like cleaning her.
They know.
Yeah.
They do know. Yeah, they're smart. Even the stupid ones are smart.
Yeah. They have an instinct. Yeah, because these guys are stupid. Don't get it mixed up.
Yeah, but you know what? I saw Treble's brain in the MRI, and it was not smooth. She had at least 5 wrinkles.
Yeah, she had some wrinkles in there.
Okay, that's good to know.
Intelligence.
That's good. Yeah, so they're getting a little more space. That's good.
That's awesome. All right. Now, so little order of business here. I don't think this is going to happen, but there is an outside shot, however small, that I'm going to have to run really quick and take a phone call if a certain phone call happens during the show. Again, I give it a slim chance, slim to none. But there is a shot. If I disappear for a minute, that's what happened. Hopefully it won't be while I'm talking. But that's it. And that's it.
Is it your parole officer?
It is my PO.
Oh my God. Did I ever tell you guys that it was when I worked at GNC, there was this guy who would come in, mind you, at GNC, I think I was like 19 when I worked there. There was this dude that would come in easily in his 40s, very flirty, right? And he was in a band, and he would always be like, oh, I bet you could sing. You should come sing for my band, blah, 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 whatever.
I bet you could
sing. One
sing.
time, well, yeah. And so one time he's like, here's my number, you know, call me if you ever want to, you know, audition. And he hands me like this yellow, you know, business card, and he wrote his phone number on the back of it. But I flipped it over, and it was a business card for a parole officer. And I was like,
no way.
I don't think you meant to give me that, but this is like the biggest red flag in the world that you've handed me your parole officer's business card.
That's a great story.
That is awesome. I've never met one. I know the movie type for a parole officer, and it's a very specific type in my head. It's like Joe Pantoliano playing the parole officer in Midnight Run or something. But that seems like a colorful type of dude. I thought you were going the other way, Mike. I thought you were going to say some guy with an ankle bracelet came in and it kind of got revealed like this guy was on parole, like So that's the only order of business. That being said, I'm looking where to start today with the topics. Brad, if you don't mind doing the honors, I think I like starting with your topic today. Okay.
Yeah. So my topic is manners /etiquette. Now, this is something that has seemed to go away in a lot of regards, I feel like. As I've gotten older, I've noticed it more, perhaps. One example is just, there's different levels, I guess, you know, no big deal kind of stuff. And like, what are you doing? What's wrong with you? Kind of things like that. Like, yes, I was at the gym yesterday and it's just like people not putting their weights away, just leaving in the wrong spot, just dumbbells laying everywhere, plates everywhere. It's just like,
wow,
just pick them up. It's literally numbered with the weight on it. You just put the weight back. It's so simple, but people just won't fucking do it. I don't understand. Or people who, I gotta know about this. This is like a Larry David thing, maybe. Hold the door open for someone.
Oh yeah.
They don't say anything.
Oh, that's where you get the classic Colin. You're welcome. Yeah, because I'll say it regardless.
You gotta tell me that. You gotta tell that story. That's a great one.
Yeah, no, I will. But yeah, I will get to that.
Well, yeah, it's just like things like that, and even like at Target, you know, just people, fucking animals, leaving shit everywhere, trash. Like I just go outside and there's just like trash laying around. I'm like, why? And there's like a trash can like awful. 30 feet away. I'm like, God, guys, come on.
That's
like,
awful.
Why? What is with people being so lazy and like disrespectful? I just don't understand. What happened to manners? Like I can't even go to movie theaters anymore. I hate going to them because people just fucking sitting there on their phone at the movies, just blind, like with a flashlight lighting up the whole movie theater, talking like it's their living room. It's absurd. I don't know if I'm just getting older and I'm just getting more pissed off at people, which is probably some of that. But it's just like, dude, have some respect. I don't know. I've talked about this before, but this has been blowing up more is people on speakerphone in public constantly just talking on speakerphone. Hey man, yeah. Just sitting there like this talking, oh, you're at dinner with everyone else. Don't worry about it. Fuck them. I'm just going to say we're going to have our entire conversation here about my drunk wife or something. It's just crazy.
Absolutely brutal.
What people do, man. It's like no one has respect for anyone else's space or sound. It's like people sitting there on their phone just watching like a movie, just at like Taco Bell blasting it. I'm like, how do you not feel awkward doing this? Get some headphones, man. I just don't understand. It's very basic stuff. And this can carry over to like anything, even online. The amount of stuff that people will just say because they can, I guess, like that. And it's crazy. Like you would never say that to someone in real life, what you say to people now, or like the lack of empathy in a lot of cases. It's insane. I mean, we've all like experienced it in some way on the internet. So I don't know. I'm just fucking pissed off and in a Larry David mood today, I think, like that.
I like it. I like this energy from you, Brad. This is nice.
Clean your shit up, guys. It's so simple. It's so simple to be a decent human. It's really easy. But yeah, I don't know. Dagan, what's some etiquette you feel is missing in this day and age?
I'm programmed for etiquette and protocol. Oh. I can't hear that word without thinking of C-3PO. I cannot hear that word without thinking of
protocol droid.
You did a pretty good Uncle Owen impression. Because he does say it a little weird. Mike has no idea what we're talking about.
Dude, how crazy is it that they just get like burnt up in that movie and just see their charred corpses in Star Wars?
Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru. Dave and I used to always do Uncle Owen impressions. Like, that old man's just a kooky old man. Like
that was just a crazy old man.
Yeah, just like take that one line and just make it and bastardize it. Uncle Owen
He
rules.
was so great before we got the texture of seeing him younger and stuff. Like, I just love to see the curmudgeon. I didn't need the backstory.
You kind of lose some of the mystique around him.
The best.
Just some kind of doughy boy.
In your generation and in my generation, not until much later, but in your generation, they never made Aunt Owen and Uncle Beru or Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru's figures. Remember that? There was like no figures for them, which was weird.
No.
Yeah, I think there was always a joke about that, and it was like their charred corpses in like the action figure thing. Yeah.
I love that. That's hilarious.
Like Aunt Beru with the blue milk or something would have been kind of cool.
Yeah, the little Cuisinart, little blue milk.
Dude, have you had blue milk at like a theme park like Disneyland?
No.
Okay. It's crazy. You gotta try
it. Is it good
what does it
or
taste
no?
like?
Yeah, it was all right. I can't remember what it tasted like exactly. It's been years, but I remember being like, it's not bad.
Okay.
It's pretty good. They
Glove
have blue
Shitto's
and
breast
green
milk.
milk.
Yeah.
Maybe at the cantina you can get that.
Ooh, yeah.
Glove Shitto's breast milk.
Yeah, can you drink it out of the tit of like some sea creature?
Yeah,
something. Salacious cum.
Salacious crumbs cum. Yeah.
Oh no.
I want the pornographic Star Wars experience.
Oh, I'm sure that exists.
What is that from? Oh,
Max Rebo's little snoot going up your butt.
Oh.
Kevin Smith did.
Yeah.
He did. Wait, is it Zach and Miri make a porno where Kevin Smith did a little bit of that?
Oh, I actually never saw that movie.
That's
Never
pretty
seen it.
that's pretty good. That's peak Kevin Smith, I would say.
Bib Fortuna rubbing up on your crotch with the end of his little his little head tail.
Oh.
Do I bring this conversation back, or do we just keep going in this direction? I don't know.
I almost just went to another direction. Just
I honestly don't know.
Stay on target. Yeah, run 5.
Stay on target.
So it's interesting that you bring up the gym, Brad, because outside of C-3PO and Star Wars, this is the first thing I thought about when you emailed us the topic. And it was like, all right, so I think overall, I will say I have a fairly optimistic outlook on this, oddly. But the first thing when you emailed the topic, I said, all right, I need to establish like a consistent unit of measure. Like, what's a routine where I could really measure polite versus rude, you know? And ironically, for me, it's going to the gym too, because now with my son, little 14-year-old bodybuilder that can't miss a day, well, Sunday's day of rest. He can't 6 days a week. He's got to be at the gym for an hour and a half. And it's funny, like he's getting bigger already. It's interesting, but he's into it. So I'm at the gym. He's too young to go by himself. So I'm at the gym with him every day. And it's good for me too. Although I go grudgingly, but it's okay. And so going to the gym, I will say complete opposite of your experience, Brad. I would say initially I was going to just say going in and out of the gym. And I would say I thought about this, breaks down like 80-20 in favor, definitely at least in favor of people holding the door going in and out of the gym. So many more polite people than thoughtless people, which is,
I think that's always the case for the most part.
Okay. You find the same thing out there?
Yeah. It's just always like those small minorities that really ruin it.
Okay. That's
it's like negative
minorities.
You can't say that.
Exactly. Those it's like negative reactions always weigh heavier on you usually instead of positive ones.
Okay. All right. So that's where we have it. Because I'm thinking of this now just by talking to you in this conversation. I'm thinking coastally. I'm thinking about listening to your music out loud or having a conversation on public transportation, let's say. Mm-hmm. That is not happening in Philadelphia, New York, and Boston. That's just not happening. Like, you will get shut down immediately. People do not deal with that well in the Northeast. And that might be a difference between the Northeast and out West, where it's a little more, people are ready to jump on you out here. You know, it's that New York, Northeast, East Coast mentality where if you're that guy getting out of line, they're going to bring you around real quick. If you got away with that on a half-hour train ride, I'd be shocked. Like, somebody is going to engage you. And it's probably going to take less than a minute for somebody to be like, dude, that's fucked. You know what I mean? And then everybody will jump on.
Yeah, that's what everyone's waiting for permission, and then it becomes awesome.
Oh, it's like,
I gotta find that. I gotta find the Long Island Railroad video that I love digging and show it to Brad at some point. Like, it's the funniest. It is like the funniest thing ever of these people just destroying this person.
And that's how it is. It's not like that's a case in point. You know what I mean? So for that, but in my gym, like when it comes to because I'm just getting into this over the last 5 or 6 weeks. I never really was an avid regular gym goer. People, to a person, like, it would be odd for somebody to not put equipment back. And the other big thing in my gym is wiping down the equipment. Always. I very rarely see somebody, and it might be like the new person coming in, which they always stand out like sore thumbs anyway. Like, I try to blend. I try to be a chameleon. But you know that new person who obviously, not just from their physique or the way they look or necessarily maybe their age, but you could just tell they're new there, you know? Other than that anomaly, I would say everybody's really good about the gym etiquette, which is, you know, good. It's kind of cool. Because I would be really aggravated. I already don't want to be there for the most part. So that would just drive me over the edge. I think for me, and again, this may be, I'm sure this is universal, but in the Northeast, certainly in the Philadelphia suburbs, for me, I'd say the negative, or where people really display bad behavior, is with driving.
Oh,
it's God, yeah. It's unbearable. And I think a lot of it is because it's not an interpersonal kind of interaction in a conventional sense, you have the armor of the car in between you. So I think people feel like they could get away with a lot.
Yeah.
Right. In fact, case in point, Jim went swimmingly, leaving the strip mall parking lot last night. I'll give you, I'll give you guys one fresh in the chamber. This actually happened. Okay. I'm at the light, turning back out of the strip mall parking lot onto a busy main road. Now, granted, I'll give you that this light takes maddeningly long. I mean, 5 minutes, you would probably have to wait, which is like in driving time, you know how it is. That's like an hour. Like 5 minute red light is ridiculous. So I'm first in line, and I know this light very well. I've lived here for years. First in line to make a left, but I'm waiting at the light. Pickup truck pulls up behind me. Okay, I think as far as I know, it was only me and him turning out. Waiting a few minutes, he decides that I see him backing up, and I'm like, oh, what is this guy doing? And sometimes I've seen this. People will just make a right and just go around to another street and turn around. And a lot of times that's actually faster than waiting to make a left at this light. So this pickup truck decides he's going to back up. Sure enough, he pulls alongside me, but he's not turning right. I'm like, this fucking idiot is going to try to turn left next to me. But he's got to wait for the light because it's a busy road. It's not a stop sign or something like that, right? Also, it's only 2 lanes, so he's taking up the right turning lane. So now if somebody comes and wants to make the right, if they have the clearance, they can make the right on red. Now he's taken up that spot. Completely thoughtless. But I'm like, this idiot, does he really think he's going to win as soon as that light turns green? It's a fucking drag race. I'm going to smoke this guy. He's in a fucking pickup truck. Like, he's not even thinking. Like, look at me and look at you, dude. Do you think for 1 second you're not going to be a speck in my rearview mirror as soon as this light turns green? I'm looking at him like, you're crazy. You know, and I'll tell you what, I'm not even going to put the car in sport mode. I'm going to give you a sporting chance. I'm not even going to engage the turbo. I'm going to do this naturally aspirated, motherfucker. As soon as that light turned green, I was going 60 miles an hour in 4 seconds. I mean, the guy was like a speck. And it was actually stupid because now I'm abusing my car just because I'm aggravated with this idiot. But I just can't believe people have the audacity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just what did it accomplish? He was 1 car length behind me. All he had to do was wait for the light to turn green. You know,
that's the thing we always say when Mike is driving me around as my chauffeur. I always do notice that when we see like an asshole driver, and then I'm like, and like 2 minutes later, I'm like, dude, that guy is literally. I'll start counting. Like I'll identify a sign he's next to and up front, and then I'll start counting seconds, and I'm like, he's like only 8 seconds ahead of us. And for all of that. Like,
he almost caused a 3-car pileup,
right.
And he is 2 cars ahead of us now. You know, like you see somebody just make a beeline across 4 lanes of traffic, and then you end up next to them anyways.
Yeah, the reward is never worth the risk,
dude.
How many people you're putting in danger. And you know what? Those guys never wrap themselves around the pole. They always hurt somebody else.
Exactly right. That's the conundrum of drunk driving, right? Like,
oh, it's awful. So you just
know that. You just can't respect that. I hate
it's
that.
Awful.
That's why I don't like driving, and I don't want to drive. A major reason of it is like it says a lot about humans, I actually think, in a good way. But it's crazy how like it's just trust that everyone's really going to do the right thing. And I do think that it's one of those things that humans do where it's like, actually it shows that humans are kind of on the up and up. That there's like more trust than you think. Because anyone can fuck anyone up at any time on one of those things. All it takes is someone just being like, yeah, I'm done. And then just like ramming right into you when you're all both going 70 miles an hour and it's over.
Yeah.
You know, and it's incredible true. that doesn't happen more in some sense. I know.
I think about that a lot. You know, like for all the mishaps and as dangerous driving is, it should really be a lot worse. You know, people driving distracted, people driving drunk, people like in different, you know, horrible times of their lives behind the wheel. Like you're out there mixing it up with anybody and everybody. I've said that before, like on the road, it's like you're automatically thrust together with, it's completely random. It's a roulette wheel or a slot machine. You know?
Right. And the speed limits have only gone up. The distractions have only multiplied. I mean, if you think about driving 30 years ago and driving now, even if you're a responsible driver, your phone's on a little thing, you're still looking at it all the time because you're probably driving with the GPS and someone texts you and all of that. It's like, it's just really, that's why I think self-driving stuff and Waymo and what Tesla's doing and everything, it's like, yeah, like good. This is good because I think it just takes a lot of the risk out of it for people and they don't have to worry. And then you could be on your phone all day and you don't have to worry about it.
True. I mean, and they are.
Because, you know, I don't like the feeling of the driver assistance when it actually like nudges the wheel for you. Mm-hmm. Like I have the driver assist stuff in my car where it tells you like, oh, you lane departure, you know, that type of stuff. I left all those alerts on. But what I dislike is the one that actually like turns the wheel for you a little bit, just because it feels like you're fighting your own car, because it's like, bro, I'm paying attention. Like I don't need this. But in our rental car over the weekend, it was kind of nice only because I wasn't used to handling that car. We ended up with a nice Hyundai Elantra. It was quite a nice little car. I enjoyed driving it. But it also was just so weird because it's like, whoa. Like the car is like steering itself, you know, minutely. That technology definitely helps people who are not great drivers.
I wouldn't always be. Yeah, that's actually, I prefer like you, Mike, like I don't want the car to physically take over, but the warnings are, you know, backup light, cameras, and the various accoutrements that keep you, you know, lane assist. Usually it's like, yeah, I'm moving over for a reason, you know what I mean? But thank you for reminding me, that type of thing. Doesn't hurt.
Exactly. It's sometimes it's mildly annoying because sometimes you're just going around a pothole and it's like lane departure and it's like, well, yeah, I wasn't going to put on my blinker to go around the pothole, because that's what it does. If you don't have your blinker on, it's like, whoa, you're moving.
That's right. Yeah, you're right.
But the great stuff of like you put your blinker on and it tells you that there's a car coming up in your blind spot, like that stuff's all awesome.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's excellent.
Yeah, I'll take it. Driving's really the only thing where I don't really have that much hope for humanity yet. The only other thing I would say, somewhere in between the gym etiquette, which is positive, and the driving, which is definitely decidedly negative, is, and I want your guys' take on this too, because maybe this is just where I'm at, but that sort of dealing with people at like point of purchase, whether that's like a fast food drive-through or just dealing with cashiers anywhere, not self-checkout, but actually dealing with cashiers. I find that I probably put it at like 50-50 that those people are either, you know, somewhat, you know, friendly or extremely rude and disgruntled. Like it's a 50-50 shot that someone's going to basically all but ignore you and act like they're exasperated, even having to ring you up, versus being somewhat courteous. I'd put that at dead in the center of 50-50 where I'm at. People just seem generally unhappy. And I get it. Like people have bad days and they're not great jobs. Like maybe you aspire to do something else and you're just doing that in the interim. But for me, it's like you're doing it. My mentality is like and it's easy for me to say than, you know, I haven't done a job like that since I was in my 20s. Right. So I know it's easier said than done, but you're doing it anyway. Why not just give it the old college try and just do your best? You know, be courteous, be somewhat friendly. You don't have to be, you know, Martha Stewart, but you know what I mean? Be somewhat pleasant.
Yeah. Being pleasant always is a benefit to you, no matter what you do, no matter who you deal with or what's going on. If you're pleasant about stuff, you'll have a better time than you would have any other thing. So I'm always very pleasant, even though I'm dealing with like an actual like dipshit or something like that.
Yeah. I actually wonder what people who really know me think about like Micah, for instance. Like I am very forward and friendly in public, and where I'm like, hello, you know, like that kind of, like, I don't talk like, but I do try to like set the cadence with people to be like, upbeat. I'm easy. I'm going to be nice to you. Let your guard down, because I'm sure they deal with a lot of, if you work at a McDonald's or you work at fucking Walmart, I mean, can you imagine?
I can't even imagine
the animals you deal with there.
Right. But if you treat me, if you treat me poorly after that, like if I'm being nice to you and then you're kind of like, then I will. I'll still be nice to you, but I'll say something. And
you rescind it almost immediately.
Yeah, like it's like nope. Like you either meet it like with that, or it's going to start getting sarcastic, because that's hardcore Uncle Mike energy.
That really is.
It has backfired before, though.
It has. There's like this older woman, this like old black lady that walk. Is this what you were talking about? Yes. Yeah. And so she lives in our neighborhood. I think she lives like, she's probably in her 80s maybe or something like that.
Okay.
I don't know exactly, but it seems like she lives with her like family and they have kids or whatever.
Okay.
So it's like a 3-generation house.
That
or
makes
whatever.
sense, right?
And she walks around. She's actually really nice and we've like whatever. But the first time I ever saw her, I said, hey, hello, how are you doing? You know, like we were walking by and then she just looked like, didn't really say anything and looked at us. And then I did my usual, like, all right, good talk. Like that's usually like what I do to people, like when they don't say, and that's like actually like my move. But then she was like kind of saying it at the same time. And I don't think she understood me or heard me really. So it wasn't a big deal. But it was her just being old and like, yeah, like, but actually when we were at Walmart a couple weeks ago, this was a funny thing for multiple reasons in my opinion, but like we do the self-checkout. I was buying, I don't know what the fuck we were buying. Charcoal, I think. And
of course. Yeah. With Micah.
Yeah. And then, so we did the self-checkout and then there's like a dude checking receipts. This dude's got like 1,000-yard stare, looks like right next to me, but never at me, reaches his hand out, takes the receipt, looks at it, looks at the product, just hands it back to me, never says anything, never looks at me or whatever. And what I said something to him, right? And then
I don't remember.
Yeah, it was like, oh, well, I think it was a good talk. I was like, hey, how are you doing? Like, all right, thank you. All right. And then he just didn't say anything. Like, all right, good talk. And like walked away. And Micah was like, he's like mentally, disabled or whatever. And and I'm like, no, he's not. He's checking receipts.
Clearly,
they
Colin,
have the people. They have the mentally disabled
did you
people
see him?
checking the receipts.
Yeah. Did you see him?
I've seen that. I've seen people on the spectrum checking receipts.
Let me just say that this man was not young. Okay. When I said like he's mentally disabled, it's like this dude was literally like 70 years old and just clearly not all there. I'm not saying he was like, like born this way. I'm saying like that dude is clearly
he's just
mentally disabled.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Okay,
this
that's
guy's
not
like
mental,
70
that's not
years.
what mentally disabled means, but okay. Like
Sure, okay. Well, you just don't, I don't know. I'm not rude to people who appear to be slow on the uptake, so he
just didn't appear. I would have never, I'm sorry, but what I'm saying is that I would have never expected a person to be slow on the uptake as the last line of defense on if I stole anything from the store or not.
There is no defense. You don't even have to stop. Legally, they can't even stop you. It's all
that
you
right?
literally can. You don't have to stop
I don't
at
know if that's
Walmart
true
with your receipt.
Oh, maybe
you
I
can
went at
literally
Walmart,
walk
but definitely
out.
certainly at like a Price Club or whatever you have to stop.
Yeah, BJ's.
That's different.
Definitely.
That's literally their store policy. Walmart does not have a policy in place that every single customer must stop.
I mean,
the
job market's in bad shape if we have people that are not all there verifying that you're not stealing from Walmart is all I'm saying.
It's Walmart.
Walmart doesn't give a fuck. They just don't want you to kill them. That's about it.
Yeah.
Their expectations for you are very low.
So this is you putting the ADT sign in your front yard.
Right.
When you don't even have the security system because there's a 15% chance the burglar will just walk by when he sees it.
Dude, one of our neighbors has that sign now in their yard for a few years and it's just totally faded to the point where
totally ineffective.
Yeah, like it's like what does this even say? It's just a shield.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Kyle, I will say before I started becoming addicted to Love on the Spectrum, which is like my new, that's my jam.
Oh, now, God, Dagan.
I would have thought that guy was just being rude. And now I understand a lot more of the mannerisms of people on the spectrum, the lack of eye contact and all that kind of thing. I would vet the person a lot more in an exchange before I determine if they were being rude or not. Because a lot of those people just come off as rude and they're not being aloof. It's like, it's just part of their, I don't want to say social anxiety, but like social awkwardness.
Yeah. Get a different job.
So that show, very educational show.
Yeah, I'm sure it is, but it's also like, listen, if I were Sam Walton, right? If I were the Walmart people, I'd be like, what we need, guys, is to put on the front lines of Walmart our friendliest and most, who are
that would require money. That would require paying the people.
Stack up your people.
You don't get top tier people for this price.
I don't think that's true. It's like if you took all of your associates at Walmart and you were like, all right, so like here's our roster of people that we have. Like, who are the nicest of you? Like, who are the bubbliest and like have the most charisma and all that? Like, you're the ones that should be at the front. And like, that just seems obvious to me. And by the way, I'm not one of the people, and I don't think there's many people that would really do this, but I'm not the one that's like, fuck you if someone's like rude to me. I don't do that. It's always passive aggressive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
That's the it's always like, the thing, like if I hold the door open and they just walk through and I'm like, you're welcome. I'll always do it like that. Like,
Yeah,
no
that's the way to
doubt.
go.
That's all I'll say. It's like, you're welcome. Like, I'll definitely, and I'll say it loud enough for you to hear it and you definitely get it. And that has never caused me, except for the train story, that's never caused me like
I love that story.
any sort of issue with anyone. And a few people have actually turned around and been like, oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. So
You
it's
can meet
actually
a friend
kind of,
that way. A
What is that?
like-minded person. You could meet a friend that way. You know, I mean, in a good situation, you can make a good friend. Or
I don't want to be a friend with someone who wouldn't just say thank you.
Well,
to
maybe
someone.
you bond over a sense of humor. Like maybe you just caught him at an odd moment.
Yeah, but he's still a
You know.
dickhead. Because I would never.
Well, so you'd
like,
be very good friends with them.
I would. Oh, that's not very nice.
Oh,
That's not very
damn.
nice. That's not very nice.
Shots
I would
fired.
want to be friends with people that said thank you 100 out of 100 times, which I would.
Okay.
You know how like there are the images, like the image of like this is society, and it's like an apocalyptic situation, and they're like the society if, and it's like the sci-fi sort of
Right.
flying cars. If people acted the way I acted, we would live in that sci-fi society right now.
Today.
We would have already been living in it. Probably
The
before I was
downward
even born.
Micah's face.
I mean, I love you to pieces, but like you're certainly not perfect. I mean,
Yeah,
Generally
go ahead, say more.
speaking,
What do you want to?
Get it out, Micah. Yeah, let's go.
no. Generally speaking, if we all lived like Colin Moriarty, this world would be perfect. Mostly because we'd never see each other ever again. We'd keep to our homes. You know, there can be no conflict. There'd be no war in the Middle East because they would simply never see each other again. It would
Sounds
be
better than the
idyllic.
status quo, does it not?
You know, it'd be great.
That's true,
It'd
yeah.
be great.
Here's the thing I wanted to just add to this, because we've said so much already. There's not much to say, but
Well, I didn't get a turn.
no, I know. I'm saying from my perspective. From my perspective, jeez.
No, Colin said it all. Everybody, he's said it all. Dig and
Brad, are
keep
you
the show
enjoying family
rolling.
dinner?
Oh,
Are you
yes.
enjoying? Okay.
God,
I get it
Move
occasionally on
along.
Summit Sign. It's good.
Jesus Christ. Is that I'm desperate to live in a high trust society and am disappointed that the United States is not a high trust society.
Right.
In some ways, it's incredibly high trust, like in a libertarian way. Like we all have guns. It's kind of high trust in that, right? And
Yeah.
we can all say pretty much whatever we want with no, like in Europe, like they'll arrest you for like a social media post.
Yeah.
You know, like that's not happening here. It's never going to happen here. So in some ways, we do have high trust, although that trust is easily broken because a school will get shut up. Someone will say something that gets them sued for libel, or they say it's slander or whatever, or they'll start a fight with someone or whatever. So obviously these things are easily abused. But the point is that in other ways, and you were saying this, Brad, is I look around sometimes and I'm like, why are we living like this? Like, why do we let the lowest common denominators force us into these situations? You know, for instance, listening to loud music I mean, in San Francisco, that was a huge problem when I lived there. Was I take the train to work, and so I was on the train like an hour and a half every day. The subway system there, Muni, it's called. And Dagan was saying that it would never happen in New York. I think that stuff like that does happen on certain subway lines and stuff like that, but it would not happen on the Long Island Railroad. It probably wouldn't happen on SEPTA or the T in Boston, maybe some T lines or whatever, because it depends on like where you are and like who you're dealing with in the neighborhood you're in. I think there's like a bunch of mores that would dictate that. But certainly in San Francisco, it was crazy. And that was the kind of place where you would look around and be like, no one's going to say anything. If someone's going to do something about it, it's going to be you. And I think I've said before that I just have a very vivid memory. It's nothing like crazy, but I just remember walking off of a tee in the Haight, going to my friend Nate's for a football game, and there was just a kid tagging the train as it was like just sitting there. Like you walked up and start tagging it.
Sure, yeah.
And I literally said to him, like, "You're a fucking loser."
Damn.
And he just like, he had like a little like his shirt like this kind of thing. And he just looked at me and walked away or whatever.
He had a marker or a spray can?
No, a spray can.
Really?
And I like, it just came out of me. Part of me was like, dude, like that's a coin flip on if you're going to get fucking killed or not. I had another situation like that actually in Santa Monica when I was walking Lola, and someone said something like violent, like something, I don't even remember what it was anymore. Like some like street kid was like, said something like, "Oh, I'll fucking kill that dog," or something like he was out of his mind. And I like literally went to him. I just like was like, dude, the fuck is wrong with you? Like, you're going to like threaten the dog or whatever. But really, like, that probably would have been a good idea for me to just keep going.
What did he say?
Oh, I don't know. He was out of his mind. He was at a specific bus stop at like Santa Monica and 4th, I guess, or something like that in Santa Monica, where people would congregate. And Santa Monica was fucking garbage. It's a really beautiful place, and there's a lot of cool people there, but it's just so abused. It's really a shame in hindsight, because it's like one of the most beautiful places in the United States.
Kyle, don't you think on the East Coast, like people on mass transit, let's say the subway, people generally, let's say New York, want to mind their own business. They really want to be left alone. But I think what I'm saying is you don't really, you tend not to get out of line, because the potential for being met with aggression is really high. And a lot of people would just not get out of line just because that's a huge deterrent. And then the pile-on effect of somebody actually speaking out, then everybody's going to chime in.
This is where I think I was trying to like articulate a couple episodes ago. It's like not really the right way to put it, but it's like there's a virtue to bullying. You don't want people to just get bullied for no reason. You don't want someone to get bullied because they're gay. You don't want someone to get bullied because they're different. You want people to, but like maybe there's a different word for it, but like that keeps you in check and confirms the mores of society that you grow into. That's the entire idea of growing into something. And I really think it started with probably the baby boomers, with Gen X, and then Gen X to the millennials, and so on and so forth, where it's like those things started going away. It became more counterculture and individualistic, which is good, but I think it let people off the hook for a lot of the things that bind us together. Like, I can't believe, for instance, and this is what I was writing in my notes and what I wanted to get to, and about how I trust societies. It's like that people need to lock their houses is weird. I get it, because it's like, well, how do you think it happened? And there's all these crazy people. I'm like, right, but why do we tolerate that? Why do we even let people like that fester in our society at all? You know? And then you start growing from there, from like, you know, even more common things. Like, why do people litter? Why do people think it's okay to spray paint a building? Why do people think it's okay to play a music out of their speaker on their phone? Like, why? Like, what is wrong with you? And that's the kind of thing that, like, as I've gotten older, I have really come to lament more and more. And I know it brings up, and it's almost a fetishization of the society. But, you know, having been to Japan a couple of times, it's like, it really kind of is what I want. It's too bad that we can't have it like that. Virtually no crime, no litter. One of the great things that people would point out, and it is one of the memories of it, is like, there's no litter, but there are no garbage cans. People will actually carry their garbage with them until they get to a place where they can throw it away, as opposed to just throwing it on the ground.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Like, people bow, and like, they really do. Like, even if you go, it's not everywhere. If you're like at a Lawson's or something, they're not going to treat you. But if you go to a restaurant or pay for something nice or do something, like, there's respect and etiquette and all these different things. And it's like, why can't, I'm not saying we need to graft onto their style of it, but why can't we have our own? We can have our guns and our individualism and all of that kind of stuff, but why can't we like treat the environment with respect? Why can't we use our blinkers? Why can't we fucking, listen to music on headphones?
Massachusetts.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the kind of shit that just bothers me. It's like, and that's what I was saying earlier. It's like, yeah, you can make fun of it, but if people acted like I did, we would live in that society. And frankly, that's most people. And that's why I wonder, it's like, why don't we need to carve the lines out better and it's what you were saying, like, embarrass and call people out. And there is something about growing up in that environment that I think is stifling, but also useful. Growing up, you don't want to be that guy.
Right.
Like, where we're from, like, you don't want to be that guy.
Sure.
That's like a horrifying experience to be that guy. It's a horrifying experience to be online at TJ's, the sub shop we go to, the hero shop we go to, and they literally have signs everywhere that say, don't be on your cell phone when you're in here. And then if you do it,
you're going to get singled out.
They're going to fucking embarrass you.
Yeah.
And I think that's like a good sort of bullying, where it's like, stay in the lines, dude.
I wish they did that at the movie theaters and stuff.
Right. Like, and I know people talk about this with Alamo Drafthouse specifically, where they'll fucking nail you.
Oh, is that
and
right?
People still appreciate that. And this is where I think we've kind of gotten to, unfortunately, is the stratification of American society. And it's certainly like this in Western Europe and other places too, where to get the high trust and the cleanliness and the decency and all that kind of stuff, you kind of have to pay for it.
You do.
And that's unfortunate. That's why I like BJ's, for instance, or Costco or whatever Sam's Club, whatever you're into, is like, there's just a cost of entry that most people won't pay. It's not even that much money. It's literally like $50 a year, but some people just won't do it. And it just keeps like kind of some of the riffraff out, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know,
it tailors the clientele.
And Alamo Drafthouse is not a place that people with like, you know, like barely 2 pennies to rub together that, you know, that are belligerent and fucking assholes or whatever, and they're on the bus or all these things. You're not going to run into those kinds of people typically at an Alamo Drafthouse. Unfortunately, I would rather go to a normal movie theater and just pay very little amount of money, but you're going to get a worse experience. So because we refuse to enforce the mores of society and call people out and embarrass people and put people in their place and even arrest people and put them in jail for a lot of things, it's like, then we have to just stratify, I guess. Because I'm certainly not going to live like that. A major reason why I became more insular as I got older in cities is I was like, this kind of sucks. This place is fucking filthy. Everyone's an asshole. It's expensive. Like, what is the good part of this exactly?
Right.
They'll tell you the culture or something.
Yeah, you have access to food. That's great. And drink. That's good. I mean, that only goes so far. I'm 40 now. I'm not 25 anymore. That's not that attractive to me.
Okay.
You know? To be perfectly honest with you, that was awesome when I was like, I never was home and I would just always be out and I was always anxious to do
Yeah, there's age benefits to that proximity to everything. Yeah, I get that.
So it's just disappointing. Yeah. Like, and it's not like, and people are like, oh, it's an urban environment. And I'm like, dude, Tokyo is more urban than anything we'll ever have. Tokyo is unimaginably urban by American standards. Like you can't even fathom it. And it's fucking clean. and it's clean.
Yeah.
It just is. Yeah, and so that's what I wanted to throw.
I think a lot of people just don't have morals anymore. Or a lot less morals.
Why don't people care? It's what you were saying, Brad. That's what I don't understand is like, it was what I was saying about taking care of outside of your house. Dagan and I were talking about this on a previous episode where I was like, you do that for yourself. It's fun or whatever, but you do that to like have a good imprint.
Of course.
Of like, this is my space and I'm taking care of it. Will you take care of your space? And then will you take care of your space and so on and so forth? And the chain just like the weakest links break the chain in all these different ways. And there are many weak links and many broken chains. And that's just we're just kind of like, yeah, that's good. That's okay.
No, you gotta do your part.
So yeah, I just don't understand. It's easy not to do it. That's the thing is it's easy to not have an imprint on society in a negative way. It's very easy. It actually requires less of you than you being a dickhead. There's nothing society asks of me really that I'm like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
You know, like, what is it asking me? Like, oh, don't use stop signs. You know, don't you'll pick up your dog's poop.
Yeah.
You know, if you take something off a shelf and then you don't want it, put it back on the shelf. Like, well, come on, man.
Yeah, you're right, dude. It's like societal tolerance. Like you first talk about graffiti or not being too loud on public transportation or taking care of your yard, right? At first I'd be like, well, a lot of those things, or speeding, using your turn signal. A lot of that, my knee-jerk reaction would be, well, we don't have enough resources to enforce, right? But no, it really, because you look at Japan, for instance, right? And it's like, well, they don't have infinite resources either, but there's just a degree of tolerance that, you know, dictates behavior. And it is a little more laissez-faire, I guess you could say, in the United States, or accepting of like, okay, there's people of all stripes. There's always going to be, we learned to take care of our houses from our parents, and we saw their behavior or their attitudes when people on the block, you know, kept their house like shit, and then learned those behaviors and then handed that down, and then, you know, kind of behave accordingly when we become adults and teach our kids. But it is interesting in this country. There is a certain, I don't know if it's a laziness or just a lot more of a laissez-faire attitude. I'm not sure about that, but you make a good point.
Maybe both. Maybe a little both, I think.
I think it's both in the way that, here's the tricky line, okay? I know that a lot of modern parents are completely anti-spanking, and I'm not saying you should spank your kids. However, their alternative is to do literally nothing 90% of the time. I can't tell you how many times I've seen a child screaming and just throwing things off a shelf at Target, and the mom does nothing. Not take the kid out of the store, not raise their voice, nothing, and just walk away and leave a mess. And it's like, so the answer is you can't spank your kid, and you also can't say, Timmy, don't do that. And you also can't just pick him up and take him out of the store. It's like the answer for some of these modern parents is the kid will just outgrow it. They don't, though. They outgrow throwing things off the shelf, but that turns into being rude to the waiter, being rude to the lady at the front desk. Like, the attitude remains forever. They just outgrow the temper tantrum. But it's like, I see this constantly, and I don't want a million comments saying that's not gentle parenting. And that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about shitty parenting. You can gentle parent your kid, and Godspeed with that. But I'm talking about the parents who I see literally doing jack shit. Like, there's no way I would have gotten away with that. I would have been taken out of the store, put in the car. My mom would have locked the car doors and gone back to go shopping. So it's like, there's a million, like, answers between not spanking your kid and not doing anything. But the rise of shitty adults, I mean, geez, you could just see it. You could see it exactly in the behaviors of people out and about with their kids.
Yeah, you just don't see people hitting their kids in public anymore. I can't even tell you the last time I saw that.
They just don't even yell at them, though. Like, I literally will observe a kid rolling around on the floor and the mom is just ignoring it.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. He's kicking the displays. He's making a fucking mess. This is not the time to do a life lesson. Like,
and also, someone else has to deal with it. Yeah, someone else has to deal with it. It's like,
it's true.
Because you're leaving the mess for
totally
everyone
ridiculous.
else to pick up.
And that would be, people say like, Colin, you have a dream job. And I'm like, yeah, it is a dream job, no doubt. But my dream job of all dream jobs would be to make a lot of money being just in the field. And you would see something like that happen, and you would be the one that got to say something and fix the problem. Be like, listen, lady, you're a horrible mother. Your child's a little bastard. You need to fucking get out of here. Discipline that child, but before you do, clean this shit up. And don't ever let it happen again. Now get the fuck out of here.
Do you guys see this a lot? I feel like I don't see this a lot.
I see it enough to say that. I see it enough to just understand the attitude of, and of course you see on social media, I know that like the anti-spanking movement is a very millennial thing, but it's just like, well, you got to do something with these fucking kids. I mean, Jesus Christ. I'm not saying that you have to hit them, but there's got to be something. You got to do
some sort of discipline. Yeah.
There's got to be something. You got to take away the Nintendo. You got to take away their tablet. I don't know, but here's the number one thing, Dagan, is I cannot tell you how many times I've heard people say, you can't raise a kid without an iPad. And it's like, bro, we literally didn't have them when we were kids. We're 30 years old. Like, are you out of your mind? We didn't have iPads. And you will see people say like, no, it's not that easy. And it's like, they didn't exist. You're lazy. You are a lazy parent if you are letting the iPad soothe your child and they go feral without it. And I am not talking about children who are neurodivergent, because like, fuck off with that already. I can hear you typing the comment about your child. We are talking about developmentally normal children on a standard track to be adults. And I see so many people saying like, you can't raise them without an iPad. You can't raise them without the fear of Santa Claus. And it's like, bullshit. Didn't have either of those things.
Fear of Santa Claus?
No, dude.
Fear of Santa Claus.
Because Colin and I had said at one point that if we had kids, we didn't want to do like traditional Santa. I didn't grow up with it, and it's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. But they're like, you can't raise a kid without it. And it's like, have you heard of Jewish people?
Yeah, right.
Like, what do they have Hanukkah Harry, and like you're terrified that you'll upset him or you don't get any presents? No, that doesn't exist. Like, you discipline the children. I didn't have Santa Claus forcing me to be good. I didn't have the Tooth Fairy or the Easter Bunny. You just raise your children without threat of a weird guy showing up or not.
It is blackmail, right? It is.
I mean, you could use the Home for Bad Children. That's a great one.
Yeah, that's a Moriarty classic.
I believe in that.
To say that like you can't raise a kid without an iPad and shit, it's like you're just lazy.
Yeah, you can, 100%. Yeah,
and
you definitely can.
We literally did not have them.
Yeah,
I just heard somebody arguing for this. It might have been Joe Rogan. He was either asking somebody or somebody asked him, like, do you believe in raising kids without iPhones? And the person, whether it was Joe or his guest, was like, no, I actually don't believe in it, because you're kind of taking away something that's inevitable, like the inevitability of this technology. Everybody has it, right?
That's bullshit.
But
That's like
I
saying,
think-
like, oh, you're going to let the 5-year-old go on Pornhub? They'll see it someday.
They're going to have
It's
it
like,
eventually.
are you out of your fucking mind?
Yeah, just hold it
That's-
back as long as you
Yeah,
can.
yeah, I agree.
You
Middle
just
school
don't.
is probably a good time for that.
Yeah, cell phones existed when I was a kid, and I got one in 8th grade.
Right.
Because that was my mom started forgetting to pick me up from school a lot. It became a problem, and I got sick going to the office ladies. They were getting
Yeah.
upset with me too. So I got a cell phone, but it's like
That's a good reason.
yeah, you don't need one at 6. You don't
No.
need one at 7.
Absolutely not.
You just simply don't. It's ludicrous to say otherwise. You will learn how technology works. You'll use it in school. The kids get Chromebooks now at like grade 3.
They do.
So it's not like they'll be
Mhm.
tech illiterate because you don't give them an iPhone.
Yeah. Wait to that. 8th grade is that's a good barometer. Like 8th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, let them develop without it like we did. There's no harm in that, and it's probably constructive.
Well,
Ultimately.
and I mean, generally speaking, prior to that age, the parents are generally the ones arranging play dates, arranging outings. It is at the point when they are teenagers that they want to start saying, do you want to go to the movies? I'll ask my mom. And that's developmentally normal that they start to make their own plans and then ask you like, hey, can we go to the movies? Like, that's good. But they're not doing that really at a super young age. It's like mom has to approve everything when you're 9. So like, you don't need to be texting about it. My mom will call your mom.
That is true.
and your mom will figure it out too. Like,
Micah, I know how it is now, though. I've seen this when my kids are a little older now, but when they were younger, there were parents of good friends of my kids that I wouldn't meet because of cell phones, that I would never meet for many months after I probably should have met them because the kids were communicating on cell phones and they would just drop the kid off in the driveway for a play date and pick them up in the driveway. Never came in. Now the good ones would come in and come to the door and introduce themselves anyway and not feel like they were intruding. But there were friends of some of my kids, parents of some of my friends, kids' friends that I wouldn't meet because of that, because of the cell phone dynamic. It takes away, sort of the humanity of like conventional relationships and how they always were. And I think that's the sad part about it. You know what I mean? My kids don't. For instance, my daughter's 18. She chose a roommate. She's from Maine, actually, for going to Miami. And she seems like a really nice kid from a good family and everything. But they talked purely over social media and text without even ever hearing each other's voice. Like they're like reticent to even have a Zoom call with each other. Like it's just an established norm that that's how they communicate. They don't jump on the phone or a video call. That they're like, Lily is like, Dad, what are you even talking about? Like no one does that. And it's weird because it takes away that, the level of human communication that we grew up with, that we know, and I worry about them because are they fully forming socially, doing things this way? Not as we know it.
It won't matter. They'll be in the battery pod soon enough anyway.
It's probably a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you make good points. Yeah, for sure.
Brad, are you?
Yeah. Micah, is there anything else you wanted to say about that?
no, this is fine. This is good.
Okay, cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I am satisfied then. It was
All
good
right.
therapy for all of us.
It's definitely cathartic.
It's good therapy. This is good therapy for someone. Yeah.
And I wonder, like, when people hear the conversation about polite versus rude, if they could kind of, curate their own attitudes and their own behaviors a little bit. Like, oh, maybe I need to be a little nicer.
Yeah.
So
No.
maybe we put some good into the world by having this talk.
Treat others
The
how you want to be
person-
treated.
The
Right, there
person
you go,
who
Brad.
doesn't put their card away is indignant at being told they should put their card away. Like they don't. There's no changing. You cannot change people past like age 25, but we can hopefully influence the next generation.
There
Maybe
you
we
go.
should just like enforce physical violence for that kind of stuff. Then
Oh,
maybe
hell yeah,
you will.
dog.
Very steep penalties, perhaps. Then maybe
Start
they'll change their
throwing-
ways.
Start throwing Beyblades at people for not
Yeah,
putting
yeah,
away
we
their
can
cards. Those
stone
things are
them.
heavy.
In the Times Square or something. Yeah,
Stone.
bring it
40
back.
lashes.
Yeah,
We're bringing back lashes, dog.
getting biblical
You didn't
with
put
that.
your card away.
I
Yeah.
don't know about lashing or like the noose or the guillotine, but stoning. You might have
Yeah.
something there.
Like,
Oh,
it's
dude.
very, like, let's go back to our most primitive kind of form with that.
Crushing people to death.
Yes. It's good stuff.
It's cost effective. There's rocks everywhere.
Yeah, there's rocks everywhere.
There's rocks everywhere. You
Mhm.
just slide the old guy out of the way, put the next person under there, start crushing that guy.
That's right.
You know, just I feel like people would start putting their carts away if they were under threat of physical violence. That's
Yeah.
a fact.
That's
Um,
true. Put your car
I
away, I'm going to
wouldn't-
break your fucking arm. And it's like, okay.
If you don't put the cart away, like the moment that you turn away from it, it explodes.
Yeah.
Like there's a detonator that only shuts off when it's in the corral. And if you leave it, it explodes within like 0.5 seconds.
Yeah. They throw a brick through your car window or something. I don't know. Throw your child somewhere. I don't know. Do something to them. You can do a lot of things with
Or-
violence.
How about this? How do you like this segue? Or we could get a gorilla to do it. Micah,
Oh, shit.
I want you to do the middle topic, my friend.
All right. Yeah. So this has been like the internet thought exercise of the week. And I'm sure we've all seen it. Do you believe that 100 men could take down one gorilla? Now, in talking to Colin about this, I'm going to say where my hang up is. It is like a fact that the gorilla is going to rip through like 50 people before it even gets tired. Okay. I brought up to Colin, if you guys remember that lady, I think it might have been like in Connecticut. It was when I was a kid, the woman who got her face ripped off by a chimpanzee.
Yeah.
But like, it was way worse than that too. He also like literally just ripped off her hand. That was a chimpanzee.
Dude, fuck a chimpanzee.
Okay?
I don't understand why they could be
So-
so friendly or so fucking mean.
Yeah,
Can
you
you
see
just
them like driving a
decide?
golf cart, being like all awesome and everything like that.
Dude, like, yeah. What is that
kill
show,
you in a second.
Lancelot Link?
Make
That
up your
like that show
mind.
about the chimp. It's like they look seem so pleasant, and then they just like freak out.
I can't
But they're
with
wild
that.
animals. So, but so my point was, a chimp could do that much damage very quickly, mind you. I think a gorilla is easily going to rip through like 50 guys without breaking a sweat. So like you got to place yourself. You're going to be way at the back. You don't want to be the first guy in. But I still don't know how you kill it. Like the gorilla starts to be fatigued. You can tell that it's starting to get tired. But how do we kill the damn thing? Like you can't strangle it. Like if we're in this with no weapons, like what am I going to strangle it? Am I going to try and gouge its eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah, the eyes. I told you
You
that
could
when
do that.
you and
for
I
the
talked about
eyes.
it. That's why I earnestly said is like someone's got to go for like people have got to go for the
So-
eyes.
They have to, but I still am like, but how do you actually kill the damn thing? One of my ideas is picking up like, somebody's severed arm, and when the gorilla like roars, like try and shove it down its throat, like
Yeah.
choke it. But because I am though, I'm like, you can't like you're gonna try and kick it in the ribs. Like this thing is like plate armor essentially. So I think it's doable. But I really think you're going to be down to your last 10 guys, and the thing's going to be so fatigued, you'll finally start getting some swings in on it. But I think the gorilla is going to kill 80 people before you even start making a dent on it. But now I want to ask Dagan, did you see these posts on social media about this? Because it started out with the post, and then there were the memes that were getting
Dude.
really funny. Did you see any of this?
Who started this?
I don't
What
know.
is patient zero? I want to know ground zero for this whole thing.
I'll see if I can find it.
It's probably Joe Rogan or some shit. This
I
sounds like
thought it
something
was
he would talk
Mr.
about.
Beast. I actually thought it was Mr. Beast, but
Oh,
my son
okay.
told me it wasn't. Yeah, I saw it. It was one of those social media things where it would pop up, in my Instagram feed, and then on Twitter, and then on social media, on YouTube, there would be a thing. And I was like, what is this? When it gets to like 4 or 5 or 6 deep, you're like, what the fuck is happening? It's just this it's the very definition of a viral thing, but I'm old, so I already get aggravated just because it's viral, which just doesn't really make sense, but it's like old man yelling at clouds type shit.
I have an answer, by the way.
Okay, please.
This is according to NBC News.
Okay.
It started with a Twitter account named Dream Chasin' Mike. And it says, I think 100 N-words, but with the AS at the end, could beat one gorilla. Everybody just got to be dedicated to the shit. With a smile.
That's what started.
That's what started. That's apparently what
that
started.
was the whole domino.
Right. That's the domino.
That
Yeah.
set off the whole chain. Okay. That's interesting to know. I think, and it's not, I'll say this. I know I get aggravated with social media and things going viral and stuff, which again is just like kind of a hipster thing mentality. I am Gen X, so we were the first hipsters, right? But I will say it's not a fascinating question. I will give it that. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if I care about the result, but the more I find out about establishing the parameters, the funnier it gets. Like, at first I heard like, okay, obviously the 100 people can't have weapons of any sort, bare hands only. And then I heard, what's the next thing I heard? Then I heard that none of these people could be like Shaq or The Rock
Why not?
size. Like, these are all conventionally sized human beings.
Yeah.
And then I heard it's got to be 50 men and 50 women.
Oh my God, come on, no.
And then
No.
then that was a bridge too far for me, because you know what? And I realized this. I don't mind seeing grown men willingly getting mauled by gorillas, but I don't want to see women getting fucked up by a gorilla. I just don't want to see it.
Yeah, like that would.
There might be
And
a
there's
couple.
no. There's
It's too
no-
much.
Yeah, they have no. There's just if we have no chance, if a man has no chance, then a woman really has.
I just don't
Can
want
I throw like the Real Housewives, the whole cast of those shows? Can I throw them at the gorilla
can.
first?
I mean, it's your
my
choice.
God. The
It's your choice.
scratches.
Exactly.
The hair pulling. Yeah.
Or
Pulling the
dude,
gorilla's
I
hair.
mean, if any woman had a shot, it would be New York from, Flavor of Love.
Dude,
I Love
yes.
Lucy. If anyone had a shot,
Mm.
I think she could maybe put a dent in that gorilla.
She should be
but,
on
like,
the team.
She's her own breed.
100%.
All right. But if anyone should be there as a woman, it'd be her.
I mean, I think we're flying too close to the sun. I think, have we not seen Planet of the Apes? How did that
Have
go?
not.
Respect the gorilla. I'll say this, for those who haven't been to the zoo in a while, all right, I was somewhat recently, I was in Animal Kingdom in Disney World 4 years ago, I want to say, right? On the safari, there's some gorillas. It's really cool. I watched a gorilla. Literally, this is the first thing I thought of when you sent this topic, Mike. I said, I watched a gorilla sitting next to a stalk of bamboo. Now, this bamboo was 30 feet high if it was an inch, okay? And as wide around as my lower leg. Dude was sitting there, not even facing the bamboo, next to it, snapped it off at the root and was holding it and gnawing on it. The strength of a gorilla is not to be. I was like, that is a powerful creature.
Yeah.
Now, this was an alpha male, pretty big, silverback gorilla, right? But you realize the power of these things. They're insane.
I have.
And they're also-
I have some stats for you, Dig.
Please.
Here that I thought might
Please,
supplement.
please.
This is from Google Gemini. This is from Google
Gorilla stats.
Gorilla Stats. This is from Google Gemini.
Let me just add one note. Colin has been getting so into this. At one point, he was saying, like, gorillas don't have great, cardio endurance. So
I just looked that up
you
too,
just
yeah.
tire it out. Like, Colin has been on this.
Because
keep
I believe,
hearing
and I'll get
this.
into it. I believe that 100 people would win. That,
Yeah.
and I want to get into that, but
Most people
here's
think
so
that.
silver. Everyone's talking about gorillas, silverback gorilla. So
Yeah.
average male silverback gorilla is around 430 pounds, which is twice the weight of an adult man. They stand between 5'5" on all fours and 6 feet standing upright. Their
Okay.
arm span is 7'7" to 8 feet in 6
heard
inches
this.
in length.
That's insane.
They can deadlift about 1,750 pounds.
Damn.
Silverbacks are estimated to be 7 to 18 times stronger than an adult male human.
Okay.
And let's see, bite force. Silverback gorillas have a bite force of 1,300 psi. Punch force is between 1,300 and 2,700 psi.
I heard it's less than men. I heard that sort of measuring it in, what do they call it? Joules of force or whatever. I heard men actually have a stronger punch.
Is that true?
That's what I heard.
Is it just because we understand the mechanics of a punch, though? Like,
yeah,
is
like
this
they
because
don't
we
know how to
understand
punch.
putting your
Have
foot
you ever
into
gone
it?
to the arcade and you saw the really big dude that knows he could handle himself hit that boxing,
Yeah.
boxing bag game? I don't want to be that thing. That I don't know. I'm just saying, put a couple of those guys in with the gorilla. Okay, go on, Kyle.
Yeah, no, that's it. Those are some of the essential statistics.
I'm going to hand it back over to you, Kyle. I just have two things about this. Made me think. Now, you have to remember as a human, the only reason that grizzly bears and sharks and jungle cats and gorillas don't rule the planet, right? These are more powerful creatures than any conventional human being, is because we sort of harnessed our intelligence and evolved and created tools and technology. And they're dealing with, quote unquote, the raw materials of just being whatever they are, right? That being said, if we boiled it down to brass tacks and had to coexist out in the wild naked with these creatures, we'd get fucking decimated, right? So we have the advantage of our intelligence and evolving and building society and all that kind of thing, right? So it's a little unfair. That's why I think the 100 men versus the single gorilla being just born a gorilla with its natural attributes is a little unfair. I'm not sure what the correct number is, but I think it's a little unfair. The other thing is, again, I'm not going to come down on deciding who would win, is that I do, no joke, think we're about 5 years out from actually engaging with this experiment and putting it on YouTube in a sanctioned way. Like, we're in Running Man territory. We're so close.
This is why I want us to go to Mars, is where we can just have no more governmental rules and do crazy shit like this, and like no one's gonna bat an eye.
Dude, we're gonna bring a gorilla
international
to Mars.
waters, man.
Yeah, international waters. It's like, yeah, right. Like get this shit going and like
gorilla fight.
I'm not saying it's gonna exist in a black market, cockfight sort of way. I'm saying it's gonna be Google, YouTube sanctioned,
like Dana White.
It's like Jackass meets social media.
Oh my God, Johnny Knoxville would be first in line. All right, the fact that he was willing to fight Butterbean, he'd be willing to fight a gorilla. He's old did now, already.
Though. You don't think that factors in?
I think he'd say, like, if this is how I go out, then this is how I go out.
Okay, I respect that. So, I think we're close to actually being in that mode where we're going to actually kind of conduct this experiment publicly.
I looked up.
And I'm not sure how I feel about it.
You were wrong, at least according to this, about the PSI of a punch.
Okay.
The punch force of a gorilla is up to 2,700 PSI, which is so it says Google Gemini says an untrained person can generate around 150 PSI, while professional boxers can reach 800 to 1,500. So a professional boxer could get to the lower end of the gorilla's PSI punch, so pound for pound, we're stronger actually in regards to punching, but they still have the force, and obviously they're naturally much stronger than us pound for pound.
We need Mike Tyson in that outfit he was wearing where he had no pants on.
Oh yeah,
because the gorilla would be so intimidated. Like, just at that sight.
Yeah.
All right, before I hand this over to Colin and Mike, I'm just going to say one more thing. A gorilla, you put 100, I don't even care if it's 100 Navy SEALs in there, but let's just say you got a conventional 100, bucks, guys that are $165, $170. The gorilla hits that first guy and probably knocks his fucking head off.
Oh, he's going to rip him in half.
Dude, all 99% of those dudes, I don't care how brave they are, put 99 firefighters in there. I don't care. They're running. There's no way in hell
this is a major
you're going to
part
witness that and stand and deliver.
This is a major part of where I've been going with this in my mind.
Okay.
Because I've been fascinated by this in some sense, because I do believe it's possible. But I think, there has to be a set of rules. First of all, if we had access to even like terrain, like tools, we would absolutely win. Like if we had access to just trees, rocks, if you were in some sort of, I was for some reason thinking part of it was like Hunger Games, right? Like where they're in like some sort of arena. And
give the gorilla a katana.
You could get to a blowtorch.
Yeah, and there's
he can choose his weapon. You put in front of him like several
things. There's like a cornucopia, and with all the weapons and shit, but you have to like get to it. No, but I was thinking like, so, because if you even had access and space where he's like, let's grab some trees and like make spears, like that kind of shit, it would be over. Like the humans would definitely win. So to make it interesting, it really does have to be just mano a mano, like in it with no tools and no access to tools and anything like that. But then I was thinking exactly what Dagan was talking about, where you almost have to dehumanize it in some sense. And really the move would be, because I love what you're saying about how this is gonna be a sanctioned like YouTube, Google sponsored thing. Dana White will lead it and like that. But what I really want actually are human-like androids, because I think the only way you could really, the other way you could do it is like Roman Colosseum, like you're gonna fight or die kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So do what you got to do, which is another thing. It's like you win or they win, like that's it. And maybe people would act differently in that, but I'm not even sure that would be the case. You need to desensitize it and then work strategically. And so it really only be possible with like android-like humans, but with human-like qualities. And that's what I was saying. Like no advantages, like they're human in every way, except for they're not afraid to die. Right. And then you're kind of dealing with something I think a lot more valuable, because people are going to die. Like it's going to be horrible. You know, it's going to be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be close. Like I'm not saying like 80 people are going to survive or something. Like it's going to be close. But there are a few key things if someone can just get access to a few parts of the gorilla, and like if people are willing to sack like battle droids in Star Wars, like willing to just throw themselves at a problem, like they're going to win. Like I do believe that. Like
So you
I
need
do
cannon
believe that
fodder.
because and I do think the key are the eyes.
Yeah.
Like if you could get someone through to just poke its eyes and totally disorient it, like just fuck its eyes up. Then I think in some sense, like I think then you have a major advantage. Then you can really start fucking with it and get it exhausted and tired. It can't see you at all, and you can beat the shit out of it.
No, see, actually,
what's wrong, Brad?
I was just thinking, dude, you should draw straws, and like the guy that loses has to like bite his dick off or something that. Bleeds to death or some shit.
Right, like you got to just get access to certain parts of. Like I'm not crazy about the ape and monkey family. All right, I don't like what's going on. They're too.
Something's up.
Yeah, like they're
up to something.
I know people really love monkeys, like they have pet monkeys and stuff. I'm like, fuck monkeys, fuck apes. Like they're too close. Like they're within a hand reach of us evolutionarily.
Yeah.
We're kind of on the same level, but we do not understand each other. And I don't trust them. I don't like them. I don't want to be around them. You know what I mean? And so you have to fill also the androids with that sort of elitism, and that like this ape has gone too far. The silverback ape has gone too far. We're gonna fuck this thing up. You know, so you're going in with that too. But I'm saying you get access to its eyes. So it's swinging, it's fucking clobbering people, ripping people up, but someone gets on him. They're short.
Yeah.
He's going to be like, they're not 8-9 feet tall.
Yeah, they are short. That's true.
Like, and they're hunched over. Like you just have to get someone swarming. And then just when you get someone on his back and you're just punching and poking and like fucking like grabbing and scratching at its face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this is what I've thought about this for hours. And it's a fascinating story because I think people are being too dismissive of it. Like, and I understand because it's what you're saying, Dagan. If you get just 100 normal people and like you and the gorilla, it's like it's not possible. Like, it's maybe possible if you really all agreed. But if you had like some sort of strategy, I've even seen people like write things out where it's like you need 10 marathon runners. You need 10 sumo wrestler type people. You need like all these different athletes, like the people that could just run around and just run away from it and just fuck with it. You know, the people that can come in and really clobber and get that PSI up for 1,000 PSI and really take a shot, you know, all that kind of stuff. So
sure.
So I think a lot of it is about the parameters. If you're having a Hunger Games like arena where you're 100 people and a gorilla are dropped in and there's like, and I'm not even saying tools and weapons. I'm just saying like terrain, rocks. Like the second you introduce that sort of thing, humans are going to win. In my opinion. So, like if humans have like a few hours to like congeal and like get shit together and stuff like that and then attack, and it's like, then that would be different. Now they can use tools too, but they're just not as smart. So I don't know. I've thought a lot about it, but I'm surprised people are being so dismissive of it. I understand like what people are saying, but I think if you channel it the way I've channeled it, where it's like just android-like humans with no regard for life.
You don't even need androids. Just use prisoners. All right. If you win, you're free. That's like here you want to make it a little more dystopian, but this would work. Prisoners, and you're like, if you win, you're free. All right, you get out of jail. Those people would fight like hell.
Yeah, but I don't know. Because that's weird too, because you have to throw fodder at it. Like people are going to have to die. Like the first people
they're gonna be willing. But if you're in jail for life,
no, I
are you
understand
gonna try against the gorilla or not?
But the first 5 people that come into contact with it are dying. That's the whole thing.
100%.
So it's like I feel like that's why you have to remove all reason and just have a straight up simulation. You know,
it's 50 from death row and 50 from a maximum security prison. All right. You're going to die anyways, death row people. So
Yeah,
That's not a
with
bad
you
idea.
try your luck.
with lethal injections, though. I mean, this is what I'm saying. I just this is why you have to
Not
remove
everyone-
all of this.
But this is why you're not a Marine. You
Yeah.
know, some people dream of glory.
Right.
Some people dream of Valhalla. And you're like, I would like to pass away in my socks,
Yeah.
comfortable in my chair. And like some people are like, bro, I'm going to go out with, they're going to blaze a glory. Like there would be people willing to do it. If you think
Yeah,
that there would not be people willing to do this, like
Yeah,
that's
you're
like,
probably right,
crazy.
but I just feel like it's that you have no.
Have you seen the
adva-
Liver King? Have you seen that
Yeah,
guy?
I
he
love
would
Liver
fight a
King.
gorilla.
I love that guy.
Liver King would fight. He'd fight a gorilla.
That guy's
hands down.
that guy rules. Love the
It's a
Liver
great
King.
You try and
idea.
go one on one with
Yeah,
it.
couldn't you just
all
give
right?
them like a PCP or something to get them really amped up?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, you could
That's
go.
the
You
thing,
could give the gorilla a PCP too.
Hey, make it
That's-
fair and
it has
balanced
to be
for
fair.
everybody.
That would be fucking wild.
Can you imagine? Just a
He's doing like
total monster.
Zangief twirls
Oh my god, yeah.
with his
The suplex, dude.
with a 15-foot arm span or whatever. It's like
Oh my god, yeah, that'd be awesome.
Micah,
No,
that's
that's
really
the major
compelling, though.
thing.
I have to say, introducing an incentive. I think death row is too. I think that's too much, but I like people with life sentences because then they're choosing between life in prison and potential death. That's more compelling to me than like somebody who's going to definitely die in jail anyway. I love that. I never, Colin makes a good point too. I haven't given that much thought to environment. Is it a closed thing? Is it kind of open world? Like what, is there places to hide and plot and come back?
right,
And-
like because if it is like that, then like the best idea is to run.
yeah.
Because again, cardiovascular health and like their ability to like breathe and all that kind of stuff is all fucked up. And
Make good
so that's why I'm
points.
saying like it's got to be a contained, like I picture this as a Roman Colosseum where there are but no weapons, no nothing, just you and it, and just what happens.
I like that.
Throw
Yeah.
sand in its eyes.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
There you go.
that's a move. I mean, I guess, but then I don't even like that though. It's like someone's got to make a proper simulation of this.
Like
We need the
like the
rules.
Street Fighter like training room where you go to do training. It's
Right.
just white walls and that's it.
But I even want it to be like something more
grid.
mathematical,
Yeah.
where it's like all mathematical values and they just run it a million times. And they're like, here's like the outcome of what it's like hurricane models and stuff like that, like where it's just all of this mathematical modeling. And it's like, here's all the
Fucking
statistics
love
that you
that.
need and all the dynamics. And this is what happens when we run this experiment. I just believe in my android theory, if you had that and people not being willing and able to be the first line that are going to die to get access to the vitals to take that thing down, I think you'll do it. I do. I believe it. I believe in you guys.
I'll tell you a way, and I might be this guy, to tip the scale definitely in favor of the gorilla is just to conspire beforehand with a group of people that are like, look, we're going to join the gorilla side. Like 25 to 30 people. We're going to fight on the side of the gorilla. We're not going to say anything until the battle starts. But now the hard part is letting the, sort of conveying to the gorilla that we're on your side.
Yeah.
You can't.
Some
The
of those
gorilla's-
dudes are going
he's not
down
gonna
too.
know.
White flag. Like that's very Hunger Games,
Alright.
like the conspiracy about like who's going to be on whose team and stuff like that. That'll be
Yeah,
interesting.
join up.
Yeah, I don't know. Bradley,
yes.
give me your definitive thoughts on this, Brad. Now, Brad, for people who don't know, Brad is very tall. One of the tallest people I've ever seen in my life. Brad's about 6'5".
Yep.
Very tall.
Are you
We used to actually-
6'5"?
Colin, do you remember
No.
that guy on the airplane that was really tall?
No.
He had a giant butt. That was besides the point. It was proportionate, but this dude was like huge. He was like crouched over, and like I
Oh,
couldn't
shit.
believe he went to the airplane bathroom because I'm like, you're not gonna fit in there.
Yeah,
This
how the
dude was massive. Like he looked like he might have been a former football player or something. He's wearing a suit, so that enhanced why his butt looked so big.
Mhm.
This is all besides the point. But Bradley,
Mhm.
you're large and in charge. How you taking down that gorilla?
I kind of agree with Colin. The eye raking, key tactic, suffocation. Perhaps if you get 100 bodies on that grill and dogpile him, that's a lot of bodies. He might just
That is
suffocate, have a heart attack. I don't know, something like that.
Stick your
a lot.
thumb
It's how
up those
Mr.
nostrils.
Mr. Incredible.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think
Took
more
down
than
those
that's the
nostrils.
thing, Brad, is I think I read that more than half of adult male silverback gorillas die of heart problems.
Oh, wow.
There you go,
So
dude. Give him some unhealthy food. Take him out slowly. Poison the
Guys.
well.
Yeah, give him a bag of Pringles ahead of time, too much sodium.
Give him some cigarettes for a while. Yeah.
My work.
Then you take him down. Easy work. Easy work. My God.
That'd be
honestly,
awesome.
I think humans would
give
win
him some cigarettes. That'd be so funny. And he knew how to smoke.
Give him a cigar. Yeah. Give him a bong. No, but I agree with Colin. Yeah. I think many humans would die. The vast majority. Well, I don't know about the vast majority. At least half would die. Like 50 people's a lot. But
it is. It's just
that
the
grill's going down.
speed. It's like knowing that chimp decimated that woman in like 30 seconds. It's like, yeah, this thing could mow through people so fast.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but they got like 2 minutes of that. He can't kill all those humans in 2 minutes.
That is true.
If
Right.
that.
There's a time limit.
They go out like a star burning out. It's like they don't got much time. They're gonna go down. You're gonna take that grill out.
Yeah, like
But
a couple people
are
wrapped around each leg, like just trying to weigh it down, like trying to drag it down. Like
people
we're
like
gonna win.
biting
We're
their
winning.
ankles or something. Yeah, we're gonna win.
We're gonna win.
We have won the war already.
I'm not gonna be out there, but
Micah.
we as humans are gonna win.
Yeah, I'm not going out there. Someone will do it. We'll pay them. They're probably doing it like somewhere in like fucking Eastern Europe right now, setting this shit up or something like that.
You see the
Ready
ones where
to
like the
go,
guys are like
Russia.
lifting weights with the bears and stuff like that, and the bears are like
Yeah,
lifting
exactly.
weights with
Those guys are getting ready, dude.
the Russians.
They're probably all over that. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So it's gonna happen, dude.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I think you guys are putting way too much stock in courage. Like 10% of those people are going to have the courage to actually stand and deliver with that gorilla. 90 of them are just going to flee and not
I
contribute
agree with
whatsoever.
you. I agree with you. That's why I want to desensitize it in some sense.
Well,
And-
that's
yeah.
why I'd lock them in a room, though. We're in a high school gymnasium. Okay.
Oh wow.
You're locked in.
Mm.
And so, like, no, there's no running. If you run, he's simply going to body slam you into a wall.
Yeah.
So
What if the
you
gorilla's
gotta
afraid?
do
You
it.
got to do it.
The gorilla might be a...
He may be a little
Yeah.
scaredy cat.
That's true.
He
That's
might be
true too.
afraid,
That like
too.
we're assuming the gorilla's like going to be down for that, but he must
Like a primal- yeah.
also look at it and be like, this is not a guarantee for me.
Sure.
It's 100
Yeah,
people.
he's like, I just want my bananas. Like, what am I doing
Right.
here? He doesn't want to be there.
We've all seen the video of the gorilla running from the goose, right? Did you guys see that clip?
I don't know if
It's
I've
like
seen that.
running
No,
from
I'm
a
gonna look
goose
this up
who's trying to
immediately.
like, it's like, yeah, it's a goose. Just pick it up and throw it, you know? But
Yeah,
he
he just
doesn't. He
got
runs
scared.
from it. They have feeling that's where I'm thinking too. Like one consideration is definitely the animal activists. Like they're not going to be happy about that. I don't know what they do or how they weigh in, but
Well, we can let the gorilla kill them so they can have it their way. Don't hurt the gorilla? All right, well, it can hurt you. Easy peasy.
100 animal
in line.
activists versus a gorilla.
Everybody wins, yeah.
Yeah, like 100 really raw PETA people versus the gorilla. Like, what would they do?
Yeah.
They face
This-
certain death, or they have to take out the gorilla. What would they do? Would they stand on their convictions, or would they fight?
I think
That's interesting.
10 of them would stand on their convictions maybe out of 100.
Okay. I'm
Maybe
not arguing
gorilla
with
chow.
those.
Right after that. Dude, this video of this goose
Oh, it's
chasing this gorilla
hilarious.
away is awesome.
It's hilarious. The goose is
Holy
big.
shit.
I'll give it that. It's a weird sized goose.
Yeah.
Everyone's afraid of geese. Like, that's universal.
They're
That's
pretty
true.
fucked.
I think everything
They
in this...
are.
If you put a goose next to a great white shark, I think it's
They
going
are
to be
foul
as well.
creatures, yeah.
How about 100 gorillas versus a man? That would be
That would be insane.
absolutely
That's
nuts.
Planet of the Apes. We've seen that.
There wouldn't be anything left of him. But
Yeah.
if for another classic YouTube video, you search up monkey sniffs finger and falls out of tree.
That I've seen. That is an
That's
all-time
a
classic.
really funny one. That's a
Hilarious.
really funny one.
Where do viral things like this end? You know what I mean? Like what's this gonna culminate in? Is there gonna be an answer? Is there a definitive ending to this? That's the frustrating thing.
Well, so exactly, because here's the thing. This happened a couple years ago on Twitter where there was a guy who was like, I want to know what would happen if you air fried a hot dog for like 2 hours. But the thing is, there's no victim. So he did it and we did get the answer and it was horrendous. But we got an answer to that. Like he did it. He air fried the hot dog for let's say like 90 minutes.
What happened?
Before he... Oh my God, it like completely charred. His wife ended up leaving the house because it smelled so bad in there that she refused to stay in it. Like it's a hysterical
That does
Twitter
make
thread.
sense.
But it's like we got our answer. This is something we're never actually going to get a definitive answer on. You know, it's a disappointment.
Yeah, no, that's the first, and that's where that Running Man scenario of actually conducting this experiment, then there is a definitive answer. However horrific we'll have an answer of like, all right, like let's like kind of talk about this over the course of a week. Everybody has their chance at their theories, and then let's actually see what happens. I just suspect we're not far from that. I just think we're going there. It's going to happen. In the name of entertainment, who wouldn't? It's terrible, but who wouldn't go in for that? I'm watching for a little while anyway. I mean, it's very faces of death, but I could stomach it for at least 5 minutes before I'm like, all right, this is too much for me. Who's not going to be
I think
compelled?
the first 5 minutes is going to be the worst part.
That's true. Yeah, maybe I'll tune in late. You're right about that. See the aftermath.
I would just be catching the highlights later. I would not be watching I would just be catching people's reactions like, oh my God, did you see what happened to Rob? And it's just like, because that'd be great to have like a running feed of these people's families watching it. Like.
Jeez.
My God. Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. I mean, think of how far we've come versus like, look at this dress. Is it blue or cream? And then everybody's arguing about it. Now we're at this level of like, 100 guys versus a gorilla. What's next?
This is great. This is like good shit though, where people aren't fighting each other over something serious.
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Oh, people still get heated if you bring up the dress, by the way.
Oh, the dress.
Which I only ever saw it as blue and black. And people still get real upset.
Are you blind? Yeah.
Because there was also the shoe. I don't know if you guys remember the sneaker. And it's like, is it gray or is it pink? That was the other one. Oh my God. It was dividing people like crazy.
It's so what was did you guys see the most recent one? Maybe it was 2 weeks ago with the audio snippet. People were hearing different things. I forget what it was.
Oh, is this like the whole like Laurel versus Yanny thing?
Yes. Did you guys try that?
It's from like years ago.
Yeah, I've seen things like that or heard things like that before. Yeah.
And it's like right down the middle. Like people are like swearing they hear the one thing and then the other. I think we were at the shore in the house with 6 people. And I think 3 people heard one thing and 3 people heard the other thing and swore by it. And it's like, why? And it was in that case, it was a frequency thing of what you're capable of hearing. Frequency wise, but yeah, I love that kind of shit. But now we're getting more violent with it. So what's next?
No, that's great. Right. some undersea some sea battles or something.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. 100 gorillas versus a blue whale in the ocean or something like that.
So there you
go.
Yeah, grizzly bear versus gorilla.
I think the gorillas would have a chance. Yeah.
See, here we go. We're starting it. Yeah.
Yeah. This is the Romans were doing some stuff like this. I mean, this is kind of the idea. So they would throw Christians in there and everything once in a while, but
yeah.
And slaves, but like the lion versus the bear kind of thing. It is interesting to think about. It's violent and wrong, but it's fun to watch.
Yeah. It's coming back.
I mean, it's like half the premise of that Animal Planet show that Chris and I talked about was like world's most extreme. And it's like crocodile versus bear, who would win? And it's all CGI, but it's going over like their various attributes.
That's sick.
And then it's like, yeah, who would win? It's insanity.
Stats. Yeah, I love that.
It's one of the worst shows they ever did, but we watched every episode.
You know what they're going to do? You know how they're going to start incorporating this, and maybe this actually happens. Let's take professional ice hockey, right? They're going to make a little like 2 foot by 2 foot hole in the ice in each game. You're never going to know where it is. Very thin ice. Again, nobody knows where it is initially. Under that hole in the ice, you're going to drop in and there's going to be a shark in there, right? So just adds a little extra dimension to the game, a little extra danger.
Yeah.
Right. And it's going to be slowly ushered in so it'll become socially acceptable. And that's how they're going to get us. And then it's going to become full on Running Man. I keep referencing Running Man because can't think of another example, but you get the idea, right? Where
yeah, like Smash TV style shit.
Yes, Smash TV. God, I was so bad at that game. It was the controls, those little dials.
Yeah. Oof. It's a cool idea. Good. I love the idea of Smash TV.
So good.
It's a great idea.
Yeah, that's the video game version.
Yeah, but I should have Monday Night Combat. That was like kind of the evolution of that on Xbox.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right. I mean, we do it now with the poor robots with BattleBots, but soon it's going to be people.
BattleBots is so good, dude. They're still doing BattleBots, right? They brought it back.
Still going, yeah.
BattleBots is so fucking awesome. I loved that show when I was a kid. It's like, this is really dope. Like, this is a really dope idea of just creating these kind of these machines that fight against each other. And they all have these different.
Oh,
One will try to flip you over, like try to get you.
Yeah,
with
but they
the
need to
blades.
give them like the robots like a personality. Like I need to hear the robot scream or something like that, like
Right.
or something. Like I need something like that instead of just silence and metal.
Yeah,
clean.
squibs. Just put some blood squibs in there.
Yeah, exactly.
you reminded me though. There was a show
I'm sorry, I
that
forgot to
my
mute.
dad and I.
Sorry, I totally forgot to mute. Sorry about that.
There was a show my dad and I used to love called Junkyard Wars. And they'd be like, you need to build a vehicle with what you can find at this junkyard. And they sent a bunch of like engineers and inventors in there.
Oh, yeah,
and
that
we
sounds
loved
familiar.
that show. Right. And because
That was
then
a
I
good
think they
show.
would have like a race or
see
something to
that,
test
yeah.
the abilities of what they created. But we loved that show. Had a great little theme song. Oh my God, I was so into that shit. It was excellent.
Genius. Those people are geniuses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, they were.
can't
Like
do
they get
that.
a working motor put together just from all scraps they find.
I don't
Like
know.
it
that's
was
cool.
incredible.
I don't even understand how you could be that smart. It's
Well,
insane.
My YouTube's all gorilla videos now. I'm not upset about that. That's pretty cool.
No,
I
it's
know,
not
it's
the worst thing
hard.
that could happen.
It's
Yeah.
hard to be annoyed at something when it's actually a pretty fascinating question. It's like,
Yeah.
my initial thing is like, why is everybody? And then it's like, oh no, this is actually pretty compelling. Let's get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
That type of thing.
Yeah, because I started thinking about other big animals. What about a hippo? You know, a little. They don't have like the same like arm mechanics, obviously, but like they could
They have
trample
chomp.
you.
And they're
And
mean.
chomp and
They
trample.
got chomp for sure. Like if you're going through their move set, they have trample, they have chomp.
Yeah.
They have
Gorilla's
that
more
thing
of
where
a
they fling
grappler
poop.
type character. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're mean. Super mean. You ever see a hippo like chase somebody in a boat? They're fast as well
Yeah,
in the
they're fast
water
as
at
fuck,
least.
dude.
They're mean.
They're so mean. They just don't want you anywhere near them. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know. I might give a hippo even odds against the gorilla. They're pretty. Plus, they're big. I mean, the gorilla could take huge bites out of it and not really affect it. It's a massive creature. It's like you could
Probably
barely make
tastes
a dent.
terrible. Like that gorilla's gonna take one bite of that hippo. He's not gonna want any more.
That's true. They must be bad. They must be pretty bad. I've never, and in fact, that's one of those animals, even at those like boutique jerky places, you never see hippo jerky.
No.
Never seen that.
You gotta be tough to chew that. Yeah.
Yeah, hippo, it's all fat, right? Which
Can we
actually
get
kind of sounds low
Can we
key
get gorilla
delicious.
jerky? Do you think?
Mm,
Is that too close to cannibalism though? Like, would you eat a gorilla?
I'd try
Probably.
it.
That feels like a bridge too far.
Monkey
They're
jerky.
they're different from regular
Like,
animals.
It's not like eating like a monkey brain in Temple of Doom or anything like that. It's
Right.
just,
yeah, I wouldn't do
just
that
nibbling
either.
on a little gorilla jerky,
Yeah, it's just they're too people-like. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. They have
But they're
fingers.
far
they
away
have
enough.
hands.
It's the
Yeah, they do,
Hands.
but they're far away enough, Micah.
They're not. They're not, Brad.
All right, Colin, would you
no.
try gorilla jerky?
gorilla jerky.
No, that's kind of like it's like eating.
All
It's
right.
too close to being eating humans. I
All
think.
right, I guess I'm the only cannibal at this company. Apparently, I would try
Well, that's
it.
that's not entirely true. I do remember it was when it might have been the first season of The Last of Us where I was like, are we allowed to eat the skin of people? Like you're desperate.
Like bacon. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. I'm like, if you truly were in a survival situation, would you at least be like, we're going to make some pork rinds out of bread? Like we need something to eat, but then
Yeah.
we still have something to bury. We're not totally disrespecting you. Like, we'll take the back of your calves, maybe.
Yeah, take
like
buttocks. Yeah, all that good stuff.
So
Yeah.
Brad jerky.
Yeah.
It'd be pretty
Be pretty
horrific.
good.
I don't know.
I mean, they say people taste like pork. I don't want to get too into cannibalism, but
Ooh.
Well, next
If
time I'm
that's
on the
true-
show, we'll do
That's
cannibalism.
never been a topic.
No cannibalism. Sorry, by the way, I just had to get up and blow my nose because it was ridiculous.
Yeah, that's right.
How
That
crazy it was.
happens.
Dude, I
That
found
happens.
gorilla meat. Holy shit.
Gorilla meat. We were just talking about, Kyle, that there's no, to our knowledge, there's no hippo jerky that we know of. You go to the boutique, those sort of chic jerky places, and it's so much more than just beef jerky now. You get all
Go to the
ostrich and alligator.
Go to the Wuhan wet market. Probably find some of that shit. Remember that was the funniest part of COVID was everyone was like, it's racist to suggest that it came out of a lab, which it did. Instead, what happened was these dudes eat really weird shit, and they all just keep it in this market and then escape from that. I'm like, oh, that's less racist. Okay, Fair enough.
Dude, I hate the term wet market. First of all, it sounds like a strip club in DC.
Dude, that's a great name. The Wet Market. That's
Gene
a great
hangs out
name for
there.
a strip club. I love that.
I hate
Oh my
it.
God.
It's so disgusting.
Gene would be like, no, they have the best wings in town, though,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah.
There is that one strip club he goes to just for the food. Like he's like, no, the food here is
I know,
I
excellent.
he
never
said
ate
that.
at a strip club. I never ate at a strip club before.
No, me
I mean,
either.
that's like me. I'm a big fan. I was a big fan of Hooters. I believe they're going out of business, but it's like, no, I'm telling you straight up, the wings are excellent. It's the only thing I'm here for. I'm not here for
Hooters.
the atmosphere. I'm certainly not here for the women. Like the wings, the fish and chips were great. Like Hooters had good food. I enjoyed that
I love
establishment.
owls, so I'm a big fan of Hooters as well.
That's right. They got the owl. Are
I
they
hate
still?
owls.
They're
Oh my
still
God.
You
around?
hate owls? What?
What?
Oh, dude, I hate owls.
What?
Man. Owls,
Oh, man.
awful.
Why, Micah?
Ooh, that's the noise they
What do
make.
you mean? Why they're so? I find them terrifying, but they're so annoying. There's owls near my parents' house, and like they keep you up at night. They're just out there hooting and hollering
They're loud. They can be
all
loud, yeah.
night.
Well, you just
It's like our neighbor's smoke alarm still beeping
Well,
6
it's like
months later. It's
a
like you
cat
hear it.
at night or something, just going meow, meow, meow. It's like the same fucking thing. Or a dog, you know. You ever seen
might be
or heard a
worse.
dog just goes oh all night?
No, exactly. It's horrible. It's annoying. So
And yet
owls.
you
The thing with
own
owls,
two.
there's no corralling them. The dogs don't. They're not baying at the moon at night. These dogs. They're sleeping
Because
on
you've
little
pampered
logs.
them, you've trained them. You can do the same thing to an owl.
I don't know if you could.
He can
I'm
just
not
sit
so
next to you
sure.
while you're playing your 3DS or
Oh,
something.
If I saw an owl in person, I think I would shit my pants. Like I can't fucking.
Oh, they're so
stand
cool.
owls.
For me, it's like
Yeah,
a
they're so
celebrity
scary.
sighting. I think I've seen like 3 since we lived here over the course of like 15 years. And it's like so exciting every time I see one. Because
Yeah.
it's rare. You never see them. They're so stealthy.
Oh God, no! They got that mottled coloring. Ugh, and then they move and they kind of look like kind of twitchy. I fucking hate owls.
Oh,
dude.
I never knew that. So you weren't a Harry Potter person?
Oh no, I've never seen Harry Potter or read
Or
it.
read it?
so-
Okay. Because that would be, I would think Hedwig would be.
Hedwig.
Couldn't
I was
resist.
trying to remember the name. of it.
Hedwig's sick, yeah.
I love Hedwig.
The owl from Zelda? Come on.
Oh, yeah.
Kapora Gabora?
Great
Oh
owl.
no, okay. So like, cartoon owls are okay,
Mhm.
right? You got the owl from the Tootsie Pop commercial.
Classic,
He's pretty
yeah.
chill.
Owl from
You
Winnie
got-
the Pooh?
Yes.
Yeah, owl from Winnie the Pooh's kind of a dick.
Good call,
All right,
Brad.
let's be real
How
about
can you
that. He's
not
kind
be a
of
dick
sucks.
when Pooh comes into your house and just gets honey everywhere and gets stuck in the door? Like,
Yeah,
you're
Just
gonna
don't
be
let him
you're gonna
in.
be a little annoyed.
He's the only
You
adult.
don't let him in.
don't let him-
No,
they're
Ken is an
very-
adult. She is a child.
But Rue loves them. Rue loves Pooh.
Oh,
so
that's
she has
right,
to put
yeah.
up with it.
Yeah, but you know, so like Owl on Winnie the Pooh, he kind of. I always hated him too. Actually,
Oh, come
He'd go to
on,
hell,
Micah. What
he
is
sucks.
have a
No,
heart
this
for
is-
God's sakes?
I saw people getting upset about my analysis of Gohan on Dragon Ball Z,
Mm.
and it's just like I just love now that this is a thing people are going to be upset about.
Heartless
You don't like
Like
Gohan?
She was complaining about Gohan not saving the world when he was like 9 years old or some shit.
I love
It's just
Gohan.
Getting his
about
neck
his
broken when he was
attitude.
5.
You know,
Toughen up,
buck up,
Gohan,
kid.
as he's laying there with his neck broken, bleeding
It's
out.
the world around you, son.
He had it
You're either
tough.
gonna put up with it or you're gonna die. But
Whatever.
Owl's
Gohan
awful.
would fight a gorilla.
I love Gohan.
In
No,
fact,
he
he
wouldn't.
has.
What was
The great
superhero
Saiyaman
Gohan?
one.
Like when he had the superhero.
Saiyaman.
Oh, love that fucking
Sucks.
character, dude.
It sucks.
Yeah, Micah
Oh my
hates all that
God.
shit.
It's so
that
great.
was the worst arc ever.
What?
It's so
That's the
awful
beginning
to
of the
try and
Boo
watch.
saga. I thought you loved Boo.
I do love Boo, but I hate the Great Saiyaman arc
Okay.
Oh,
so,
it's so
much. And Videl comes in. We don't need more characters. It's too much. It's too much.
You don't feel bad for Gohan being in Goku's shadow. I mean, you gotta
What
sympathize.
shadow?
with
His dad was dead for like 15 years.
That's true, but
Multiple times.
having to inherit the legacy, I guess you could
No.
say.
The legacy
I mean,
of
you
Goku.
could- You don't see LeBron James's kid being like, but father, I don't want to play basketball. I want to be a scholar. It's like, no, you play basketball like your old man did and you shut up about it.
Well,
You just
I mean,
do
playing
it.
basketball is a little different than fighting for your life on a constant
Being
basis.
a bodybuilder, they're bodybuilders, Brad, and they're fighting other. It's all like WWE, you know, like it's about the glamour, it's about the pomp and circumstance.
Yeah,
Maybe
and not
we'll
getting
make-
blown to smithereens.
We'll make Dragon Ball Z a
Well, that
topic,
too.
maybe. We'll have,
Oh,
we
God.
won't have Colin on that one. Although he goes pretty far back with Dragon Ball.
Yeah. I do.
He definitely does.
I definitely do.
Have all the weebs on that one.
Yeah,
You know what'd be fun?
Dragon Ball was fun in the 90s when I was
I
on
mean-
Cartoon Network and all that.
It's Toriyama. Can't. You can't go wrong. Just
Yeah, we had a big rant about people that don't like Toriyama's art style on Summon Sign.
There's people that exist that don't like that. That's weird.
I don't know. I think we told them to fuck off, essentially.
That's so weird to me.
I think I called them a bitch or something too as well. So there you go.
I mean, I'm sure they exist, but that's probably, think about it, one of the most universally loved art styles.
Yeah.
Pretty irresistible.
God tier. Yeah.
You got to really be a hater.
You can tell me you're going to look at one of those little cars he draws and you're like, this sucks. It's like, come
So
on,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's just
You're gonna look at Yajirobe and tell me that's not peak male form. All right,
Yajirobe
that's
is
what you're
pretty
trying
sick.
to tell me.
that is true. Little something for everybody with Toriyama, right? He doesn't discriminate.
Oh, yeah.
Gives something to the girlies, gives something for the guys, there's something for the fellas in there.
Yeah.
You know, give him his propers, right?
There's Proverbs. That's
I
right.
hate we should have really, which is my bad. We should have put the 100 people versus the gorillas topic last, because this is not the best way to follow that conversation. But we're just going to do a quick, easy one. My topic today, which I'm kind of one of those things where I'm surprised we haven't talked about, although we probably have touched on it in other conversations.
Mhm.
I want to talk to you guys today.
Hmm.
Very important topic. Public restrooms. Give me your takes, your strategies, your stories, your memories. Tell me about the good ones. If that can be a
Memories.
good thing. Is that a thing? Is that a thing? The truly horrific ones,
Yeah, that's it.
right? There's going to be plenty of those. I was thinking about this because I was talking to our daughter. You know, she's getting ready to go off to college, and she's talking about parties and drinking and everything. I said, when me and mom met in Philly, there was a dive bar, notorious dive bar downtown in Center City. And Helene actually lived, and her roommates lived right next door to it. Still there, still a very popular bar called Dirty Frank's. But definitely benefiting from identifying as the consummate dive bar. What was cool about it was like everybody went there. College students, bikers, townies, like everybody was in this place. And the crazy thing about it was disgusting. Number one, it was just stunk. They never cleaned it. I mean, it was really the consummate dive bar. But the most memorable thing about it was it had no doors on the bathrooms. So if you went to the bathroom, girl or boy, they were separate. There was a men's room and a women's room. People could see you from certain vantage points in the bar, could see you going to the bathroom. It wasn't one of those ones where it was like a modern bathroom where maybe the geography was like you have to kind of curve a couple of hallways with no door on it, but it was just like, no, just straight shot of the urinals or for, the potties for the ladies. So people just could watch you pee or poop. Hopefully you didn't poop at 30 Franks, but I was just thinking about that for the public restroom thing. And then I had thought to myself, I have a real problem. I'm not a squeamish dude. And I'm not, I could go along for the ride, like road trips and all that type of thing. But just I don't need the creature comforts of home. I'm pretty low key. I don't require a lot. I'm not a diva, but public restrooms really bother me. Generally disgusting. And I thought to myself, since I was an adult, let's say late teens, early 20s, this is definitely true. I've pooped in a public restroom. I could count the times on two hands. Like it's definitely less than 10 times.
Okay.
I just will not, unless push comes to shove in a real emergency, I'll do a number 2 in a public restroom, but it's been so infrequent because it really skeeves me out. And again, I'm not like generally really skeeved out. I'm not a germaphobe generally, but public bathrooms really skeeve me out.
Dagan, I've known a couple people like that though. Also, maybe it's not like a super uncommon thing.
Just public restrooms.
They're just like, yeah, I don't want to shit in a public restroom.
It's disgusting.
They just can't do it.
Yeah, no one wants to.
Like, no one wants to. Yeah, of course. No one wants to.
No.
But like,
It's
when you gotta
about-
go, you gotta go.
Yeah.
It's about Poseidon's kiss. All right. When you're at home and a log drops with such force that some water splashes up
That's
into your
it.
butthole, but that's your home water.
Oh, yeah.
That's
That's
home
it.
water. But when that happens out in public, you're like dirty water,
Yeah,
bad
yeah.
water.
Big
And
difference.
now it's inside you.
Yeah.
The
Oh,
public
now you-
hole
now
is
you-
inside
now you
you.
have AIDS.
Oh, you're absolutely
Jeez.
right, though. You know?
So no, it's about that. That's half the reason to never poop in a public restroom.
That's why you got to pinch the loaf in public a little bit. Make sure you're
you got to break it up.
You got to cut it up a little bit. You
I've held in.
You don't need that much force.
I have held in so many times just to avoid it. Now, and in all fairness, maybe the bathroom wasn't as bad as I anticipated. I would never know because I just will not. Again, unless it's literally, like beyond turtle heading. There's just no way I'm just going to hold it, and I'm skilled at that. I have that power. I could pinch for days, man. I've been camping for days. I'm not doing it.
The average man Olympics, and it's like, Dagan, you get holding your bowels. And you're like, nice.
It's like iron. They're like
gold
iron.
medal.
They're conditioned, baby. Talk about the gym. I've just taught myself, I know that's just the bar is just too high. The bar of entry is just too high. I'm not doing it.
I'm grateful that my body has, with some exceptions, has seemed to have understood where I'm like, now is not the time.
Yeah.
It just seems to know, you're traveling, you're doing international travel or whatever, and you're going to be in a plane for 16 hours. We're good. I'm not going to do anything. That's
how I am too.
I'm not going to do anything, but it does, we had a pact. Every once in a while, the pact is broken and then I end up shitting my pants,
Oh, yeah. No, that happens. But generally
maybe
there is.
Pact.
What, shitting your pants?
You shit your pants once in a while, but you will never have to poop on an airplane.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll take that deal.
Maybe that's Colin's monkey's paw.
Yeah.
You're going to shit your pants twice a year.
Yeah, you're gonna have.
But
you
won't ever experience this.
I let farts go that I shouldn't be letting go. Let's just say that.
And
then you're like,
and you're sharding.
Yeah, right. And it's not a lot, but it's
it's a little buckshot.
You squeeze it off a little bit. You squeeze it off.
Buckshot. Yeah,
and then your eyes go really wide.
You misjudged.
Yeah, and you're like, oh, yeah, that happens to me once, twice a year. I would say, yeah.
That's so fucking funny.
I did that before my colonoscopy. I was just telling you about that not too long ago, Kyle. Maybe it was on Knockback, where it was and that was a different case because I was taking the stuff in order to cleanse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should have known better.
You had an excuse, I guess.
Flew too close to the sun.
I mean, definitely.
Not Colin just shitting his pants randomly, I guess, occasionally.
Yeah,
we have
unfortunately
fun
it happens.
Yeah.
It unfortunately it happens. It does happen.
It's not uncommon. And I'm with Kyle. There's generally this pact, this agreement between the brain and the body that just says this isn't the time. And 9 times out of 10, maybe even more than that, they adhere to the pact, the agreement, but once in a while it does happen. I mean, the only other thing I could say, and I'm going to hand this over to Micah first, is people might have heard this story, but this is my craziest public restroom story. I worked with this dude. His name was Kurt. It was the name really just fit the character. He was Kurt. He was just this aloof dude, and for some reason I always got the feeling he didn't like me. Now later, we kind of became friendly, but initially then we worked at a certain animation studio together, and he was in a different department. He wasn't an animator or an artist of any kind. But for some reason, I just always got the sense that this guy didn't like me, and he walked by my cubicle all the time and would just never say hi and just kind of give me the thin eye and stuff like that. And I was just like, this guy's a dick. And he was such a dick and so aloof that I would actually tell people that I work with, what's this dude's problem? And everybody's attitude was the same. He's kind of standoffish, right? Okay. Happens. But one day, I'm in the men's room at this animation studio, and I'm thinking, picture it. So it's probably a men's room with 8 to 10 urinals, a big line of urinals.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
big restroom, and a number of stalls as well. But I'm at the urinal. No one else is in there. In fact, I think it's after business hours, and it's right 6:30, 7 o'clock at night. Not too many people left in the building. I'm by myself. Here comes somebody, comes in and stands directly at the urinal directly next to me. Now, he had his choice of urinals. There was only one being occupied. Comes right next to me and starts to do his business while, with the other hand, eating an apple.
That is unhinged.
All I hear is crunch. I see somebody's next to me. I'm not even seeing who it is at this point, and I hear crunch, the telltale crunch of an apple while he's peeing. And, allegedly holding his business, and guiding it with the other hand. And so just fully pressed, inches from the wall, his face inches from the tile wall with his apple eating. And I look over, it's fucking Kurt. And I'm like, this guy, you have to acknowledge, like, this guy's the best. You know what I mean? Like, he's just living up. This is so on brand. It just feels so curt to me. You know, that was to this day, there's no explanation for it. I don't even know. Like, I like to think maybe he was trolling me a little bit, but I just think that's what he did. I just think he was a weird dude.
He just came right. So there were all the other urinals were available, but he came to the one next to you. Is what you're saying?
Directly next to me.
Yeah, a little gay, maybe. Too.
Let's
Yeah,
say
I think he's just a psychopath. It sounds like.
Definitely at least a sociopath. The psychopath thing might not be too far off. Definitely had his pick of any other urinal, had to be right next to me. I'm either thinking the guy was that aloof or he's a comedic genius. In other words, like doing that thing, totally never talking about it again. No one else is there to witness it. That's like, if you think about it, that's comedy in its purest form, because he's just doing it with no crowd. You know, that's pretty cool.
That's what someone who is a psychopath and a freak would say to themselves. It's just comedy. It's my form of comedy. And everyone just thinks you're a fucking weirdo. Don't do that shit.
I get it. And I kind of get it. I would never do it. Plus, it was gross. The guy was eating while he was peeing in a public, eating an apple. Like, what?
Dude.
Like,
It's crunching.
The surface is open.
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It was amazing.
Yeah,
it was
that is
absolutely
insane.
amazing. Again, never talked about it. I don't even know if I ever told anybody I worked with, because how do you even say that?
Oh, dude,
How do
no,
you
we
tell?
told so many stories like that at work. There was no, if you do something in the bathroom at work, everyone's going to hear about it.
That's
That was-
awesome. Again, maybe that bullying, that gatekeeping was needed at this place.
I think so in this case. Maybe
I had a level of respect.
a
for
little
the guy
physical
after that.
violence as well. Really get him in line.
But it just made so much sense for this guy. Like, I was like, later on, I was like, of course, before even looking over, you should have known exactly who it was. It just,
Yeah, he was just fucking with you.
yeah, I
He's
think
just
so.
a weird. Yeah, he's just fucking with. That's
I definitely think
people.
so.
Some people are just like that, and I get it. I mean, thank God you knew who he was at least. Like, if he was just some random asshole doing that.
But it's a chaotic energy that I appreciated, because I just,
Well, you're an animator, yeah.
yeah,
They're all chaotic.
I dug it.
Yeah.
I kind of dug it. And it gave me a story. It was one of those things that happens. It was like, I cannot wait to tell somebody about this. Did this just happen?
I know. And then Helene is like, why are you telling me
why?
this?
I don't want to know this. I don't need to know
But
this.
now you could tell to thousands of people.
It's
They'll
true.
wanna
This was
hear it.
pre-podcast too. So it was like, where do I tell these stories?
Yeah.
I should have had a blog, maybe. I don't know.
Animated
Mike, I'm
blog.
going to
Yeah,
you.
That could have been really good, actually. Yeah.
Who knows? People still blog, as I understand it, which I think is very strange. But is it true? I don't know. The art of writing, at least it kind of
Yeah,
still
it's good.
exists.
So, yeah, someone's
in
writing
some
something.
form.
It's good.
It's good. I'm
A lot
behind
of
it.
Strange shit out there. You hope they're writing now. It could just be AI doing it. So
Or journaling. Journaling's
Or
like a
journaling,
big thing
yeah.
now again, right? Which is blogging. Micah, public restrooms. I know you. Listen, you're famous for your takes, strategies, stories, all of that. Talk to me about and stances. Like, where do you sit?
where do you stand on public
Where do you
restrooms?
stand on
What
public
are your greatest
restrooms?
memories of public restrooms?
So many memories. When I worked retail at the discount store, we had public restrooms up until the day some guy shit in our sink, and then you had to ask for a key to the bathroom. So I hold the firm belief that public
That's
restrooms are
hardcore.
horrible.
That's hardcore.
Oh my
That is
God.
insane.
Yeah.
Oh my God, dude. Like so many things happened at that store. Like there was a time you feel bad. Like some old lady pooped her pants and didn't know, like full on pooped her pants.
Dang.
And she trotted it like all the way down the carpet to the back of the store. And it
Oh,
fucking
no.
reeked. That was the whole thing. But no, I will do anything to avoid using a public restroom. I'm very calculating
Hear
about it. I haven't used a bathroom on a plane since I was a child. Like, I will do anything to avoid that scenario. Half of it is you see who came out before you and you're like, no, that guy looked gross. Like, I'm not going in there. Like, so yesterday I was at the vet neurologist for 4 hours. I had to calculate about 2 hours in that I was like, I'm going to have to use the bathroom because then I have a half-hour drive home at the end of this, right? So I went to the bathroom, pristine restroom.
Pristine facilities.
They're unisex bathrooms. They have 2 unisex bathrooms. Delightful, like locked and vacant, thing on the doors.
Yeah.
There's no knocking. I hate having to knock. And then because sometimes you don't hear the person and then you jiggle and they're like, hold on. And it's like, all right, you didn't say anything.
So awkward.
I hate it.
Give me a minute. Yeah.
Dude, so like from the jump, this is a good bathroom. And there was only like 3 people in the office with me, right? So perfect. And I was so glad I went to the bathroom at that time because like 10 minutes later, this dude went to the bathroom and he was in there for 15 minutes. And I was like, nope, wouldn't have gone in after
he was
that
blowing
guy.
that toilet up 100%.
Well, and then the place started to get a little busier after I was there for like 3 hours. And there was like a stream of people using the bathroom. And I'm like, I literally would have held it if I hadn't already gone. So no. Public bathrooms, I'll do almost anything to avoid using one. If I'm using one, it's like a desperate situation. Like I miscalculated my iced coffee. I shouldn't have had it before leaving the house,
Sure.
But at my IT job, there was a guy who was known. This kind of ties into Brad's topic. There's a guy who's just known for like the worst bathroom etiquette. If he saw your shoes in the stall, he would start talking to you. He'd be like, "Oh, hey, Brad," like because he'd recognize like your sneakers, and he'd be trying to have a conversation with you.
Who does that?
And the thing is, because people are like, well, you're a woman, you weren't in there. And it's like, no, dude, like so many people said, they're like, he got me today. Like he saw my shoes under the stall and started talking to me because he did it to, like, if he recognized your shoes, he would do it.
That guy's a genius.
So like the story's been corroborated by multiple people. He's also the same guy that brought a bowl of soup to the urinal one time. But
she got him together with Kurt.
Oh. Why?
so that's what I was he was always, so he would walk around the whole office with soup. Like that was he ate a lot of soup. A lot.
Is he a Seinfeld character or something? What is this guy?
Oh my God. No, he was amazing. Like I don't want to like reveal too many details about this dude, but he was fantastic. He would take home cardboard and he would flatten the boxes and he would lay them out in his front yard so he didn't have to mow his grass. He just had a cardboard yard.
No.
The dude was amazing,
No
right? He was
way.
fantastic.
Oh.
So, but he would walk around the office with soup. Like he'd be like, "How you doing?" Like he'd always just be walking around talking. Like on his lunch break, everyone got a 1 hour lunch, but he wouldn't just like sit in the break room and eat. He would just like mill around. And so, but he would eventually like he'd just walk right into the bathroom with the soup. And then he'd the same deal though. Like, "How you doing?" Like at the urinal. Like he was a urinal talker. That like multiple people
That
said that. They're like, exactly. But no, oh my God. So I'll do pretty much anything to just avoid public bathrooms, especially retail stores. Like if I was at like a Target and like Target is semi-acceptable, a Walmart, never. If I'm using a Walmart bathroom, just call 911.
I agree.
All right, something's gravely wrong. Restaurants, I will try to never use a restaurant bathroom ever. They're not even bad. I just don't.
What if it's a nice
there.
restaurant, like
because you're eating
a fancy restaurant, a nice
A
bathroom?
fancy restaurant is acceptable, but generally speaking, I'm just going to try to never use the bathroom outside of my house.
Sure.
Like, and now that's unavoidable with office life, right? Like, it's just, you really just can't get around that. It's impossible. But otherwise, like I'm not trying to use the bathroom at the mall or anywhere else. Like I can wait till I get home. Generally speaking, I can't. Fucking public restrooms are horrible, truly horrible. And the worst part is just people who don't wash their hands. That's actually the worst part.
That's foul. Yeah,
because I'm a good hand washer. I always wash my hands. All right, I'm not saying you got to wash your hands for a minute straight, okay? And like, but to see people like leave the stall and like they blew it up, like they stank it out, and then they just walk out, and it's like, you didn't even wash your hands, and then I see you at the food court.
Oh, that's so
disgusting.
bad.
So
that's so bad.
Public restrooms, really, the biggest part is just that it highlights how filthy the people around you are. And if I see someone exit a public restroom without washing their hands, and I'm watching everything they touch at the airport, and I'm like, oh God, oh God, oh God. So I just don't want to think about it.
That's a disturbing social experiment, for sure. The person that talks to you in the bathroom, like there is a silent pact. We all know that probably from the time we're 5. You just don't do that. Like I don't talk to people in my home through the bathroom door because I'm like, that's their alone time. They're doing their business, right?
I I don't know. That was the ladies at my old job were almost worse in some respects. The ladies' room always had a clogged toilet. Like these women were animals. All right. And
they say it's worse in a women's room.
That's what I've learned, over the years.
You know, and I don't know. It's like, just sit down to pee. They get pee all over the seat. Just if we all just sit down.
Women? What are they doing?
What are they doing in there?
Like, and because like the first person has a pristine toilet and they decide to hover anyways, and then they don't wipe the seat, and then the next person goes in and has to hover because it's covered in pee. But it's like, no, dude. So like women's bathrooms, it's like we all have to agree to sit. We just all have to agree to sit, and it'll be perfectly clean.
Yeah, that's all.
I will say though,
seems easy enough.
Maybe my number one beef about using a public restroom was when you sit down, the seat's warm. Which is the same as like if you're at like a barbecue and like everyone's using the bathroom. I cannot fucking stand when like you sit down, like the seat's already warm. It's like, you know, like you might as well be cheek to cheek with your grandma right now. It's fucking disgusting. But yeah.
That's a great one, Micah.
Public restrooms give me a lot of
very
anxiety.
rarely, but that's bad. Yeah, family party's a great example because you know people are in there.
Oh my God. I'll never forget one time. I told Colin this recently. I don't remember why I thought of it. I had a friend's cookout one time, and like somebody was in the bathroom for a long time, but like she came out smelling like poop, and it was like that was like new fear unlocked. Like, oh my God, because like she fucking reeked, and I was just like, never ever going poop at a party ever.
That is disgusting. You know what my biggest fear was? And they're usually not in a public bathroom because, again, I'm not using them, but at a family party or, you know, a friend's house, maybe, especially someone I don't see a lot, like someone who I'm around like infrequently, the sweaty toilet seat. That would be fucking...
Oh, man, that's...
Can you imagine?
Ew.
I could imagine.
Sweaty toilet seat? Like you're living in the deep south or whatever with you're like dabbing your forehead on it with your little sweat rag like Colin has. Oh man.
I think too, when you have to, like, if you're gonna host a party, you absolutely, I think, need to warn people if you have like a tricky toilet.
Yeah.
Like, like you gotta tell people, like, you gotta flush twice, you know, like you can't have a tricksy little toilet in there and not tell people. Like we got a funky, like our toilet seat for some reason just keeps getting loose. And the thing is that Colin and I know about it, so like it's fine. But whenever someone's coming over, I have to tighten up the toilet seat because if they sit on it, they'll like get shot to the moon.
I have one like that too.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with this toilet seat, man. It just doesn't stay tight. So I'm like, whatever. So I just fix it before company comes over. But like, you know, you gotta make sure your bathroom's up to snuff, or you can't host anything.
Right.
That's got to be a rule. You know, you can't put me in panic mode because I flushed the toilet once and the water rises like just a quarter inch. You're like, oh God, and you flush it again, and it's fine. You just can't do this to people.
You gotta let them know.
Yeah,
it's common courtesy.
Oh my God, those are great takes. And you speak about unlocking fears. Like, yeah, I just have a thing with it. I wish I could get past it. Plane, like going on an airplane, I can't. It's a double whammy because not only is it the public bathroom thing, but I'm also claustrophobic.
No, it's a capsule.
So,
it's a little uncomfortable for sure.
I'm the guy peeing every 2 minutes for the hour leading up to the flight because there's just no way I could go in there.
Get it out. You know? Do what you got to do.
No fun. No kind of fun. Brad, take it away, my friend. Where do you stand on this? Give me the West Coast perspective.
So, many things.
Which
many
in
factors.
and out has the best bathroom?
I can tell you. Many factors, the UCI one. Many factors with the public restroom. Okay, so I'll piss in any public restroom, whatever. It's no big deal. Mm-hmm. We don't got to sit on a toilet seat or anything like women do. We got urinals, whatever. I'm fine with it. If someone's sitting next to me when I'm peeing, I don't really care that much. It doesn't bother me. I am aware that it bothers a lot of people, though, so I will do whatever I can to make it comfortable for them as possible. Right. You know, give them some space or whatever. If there's no space, though, fuck it. They got tough luck, kid, or whatever. Like, you got a sports game, whatever. You got to deal with it.
Right.
Pooping, I avoid at all. Not at all costs. I will do it if I have to, you know. I don't want to shit my pants. I just don't want to do it. I don't want to have to deal with that.
That's worse.
just get it out. I really dislike, though, Micah kind of brought this up, going in like a bathroom that is like a solo bathroom or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
because you have to lock the door. Then like you got to worry about people knocking on the door. I also hate the knocking. I don't want to tell them, give me a few minutes or anything like that.
I'm in here.
Yeah. Hello? Yeah, I don't want to deal with that. I don't want to deal with that shit. If there's like a stall and like a urinal in there and like multiple people can go in there, I'm much more happy with that kind of thing. But yeah, like eating in the bathroom, ban. You should be like kicked out of the establishment, whatever you're doing. Like then, like people are bringing their beers into like the bathrooms. Like, don't do that, guys. Just
That's tough too. Yeah.
Just leave it.
Sometimes
at the table
you
or
have
something.
to, but most of the times you don't.
If it's like if it's a desperate measure,
If
or
you're at
something
like a
that,
concert
sure.
or something, it's like you're not going to put your beer down somewhere. You gotta have to bring it in.
Or just fucking chug it.
Yeah,
real
finish
quick,
it.
All right.
But that shelf, I don't think it was even that long ago, Brad, when I realized like that shelf, especially at certain venues, is there for your drink.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Which is like encouraging you to do it. It's like, no, this is wrong.
I won't do that barbaric behavior. I will not conform to that.
No,
thank you.
I like
I will
it.
not do that.
Brad, what about this? Is something that like I have a very strict rule with, which is even like no food in your mouth before you go to the bathroom. Like, let's say like you're eating like I'm eating like a sandwich and like, oh, I really have to pee. I will chew that entire bite. I will not go to the bathroom like with food on my person.
I don't think I've been in a situation, Micah, where I like didn't have time to chew something.
You've never had a mid-dinner dump where you had to make a quick decision about what to do.
Well, I feel like
happen to me.
if I'm in that, if that's happening, I'm probably not eating after. Like, that's a code
You
red.
even finished the meal?
If I'm like fucking about to explode or something, where I have to like take a break.
You're making. Oh my God, Colin! He doesn't know about the mid-dinner dump.
Oh man,
All
yeah.
right.
This happens to you guys?
Yeah, it's a.
Well, no, I mean,
it doesn't happen
never
often.
happens to
It's
me.
a fucking East Coast thing.
It's the
or
worst.
some
It's
shit.
the
like
worst
a-
thing to happen, though.
No, this is rare. These are rare and special cases.
Okay.
But occasionally you misjudge it and you're in the middle of dinner and you're just like, I really got to poop.
Yeah.
Well, then
And then like, it's like, I got to come back and finish my dinner.
Finish chewing.
Mhm.
I would rather have food in my mouth than poop my pants, I guess is what I'm saying.
Interesting. It's interesting.
So you can
It's a
keep
bold
your mouth
take.
shut. You can chew with your mouth closed.
But the poop air's
But
getting
the poop, I know, but the poop's getting in there or in your pants. So you got to deal with one. Like, I don't want to feel the poop like mushing. Like, I don't want to feel that shit. No, thank you.
That's a bad feeling.
I got to tell you a bathroom story, though. I was at a bar like a while, like years and years ago with one of my friends, and he was drunk and he went on the bathroom to take a shit. And then when he was taking a shit, he puked on his dick all over himself. So we called him
God.
Puke Dick for like 10 years.
It's a puke dick.
Yeah. So it was something that always got brought up. So, that's the kind of shit. With dudes, never forget.
Mhm.
You never let them forget.
No.
Even when they were like 5 years old, you never let them forget that they did some dumb shit.
I like his bravery for even telling you guys that.
Yeah, he
knew he was
pretty
never
open
gonna
about
live
it.
that
maybe maybe he was one of those people. Like some people like to get made fun of or whatever. They just like the
Mm.
attention. Maybe he's a
Yeah,
little bit of
man,
that.
interesting. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They like beating off to it later.
Mhm.
They're like, oh, did you see the look in his eyes when he called me a filthy little man?
Yeah, and he called me a fat fuck. Yeah, it's like something like that. But public restrooms are a necessity. I don't want to use them, but I'm glad they are available. But if you got to piss, like whatever, I don't give a shit about that. That's fine.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
not
want to
too
sit on
bad.
the toilet. We got urinals, easy, quick.
We're lucky
We're
compared
lucky.
to the females, for sure.
Women got to squat and shit. Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
fun.
and
It's
look,
not ideal.
No, you got
and
to
you
do
look like a fucking goblin too when they do it. It's like we don't got to worry about that. We just can just stand up, but they got to get like down real low or whatever. It ain't right.
Yeah, but
You don't
what
see
about
that.
all right, two things, Brad, before
Yeah.
we hand this over to Carl. And let you finish. There's two things about the urinal that are potentially dangerous. One's a very serious consideration, which I want to pick your both brains about. And Micah may know about this too, but the one, have you ever experienced the guy, this is rare, but the guy in the public bathroom at the urinal who will pull the pants down below the ass. So bare ass
seen
out.
that.
Yeah, that's like
That's mostly children.
Yeah,
I've
children.
seen
Like
that
you'll see a
with.
kid like every once in a while,
Or someone with like an extreme mental problem or something like that.
Because if you want to punk somebody, just
that is a way. Yeah.
Yeah, just do
That's
that.
like Butters from South Park does that shit.
Yeah, that's all I was thinking about was Butters.
Yeah.
So that's a rare treat. But here's the thing. I was just talking about this with somebody. Oh, my father-in-law, I think. I don't know why we were weighing in on this, but do you guys know, you guys will know, Micah may know this exists, the old school, I think it's old school, trough continuous style urinal that everyone just pees into. It's like one big stainless steel sink.
Yeah.
That's like at sports stadiums. I
Off
remember
inside,
stuff like
two-sided. Where everybody stands at the same gigantic glorified bathtub and pees.
Yeah, that's the way it was at Candlestick Park, actually. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Right. Was Fenway the same?
No, I don't remember Fenway being like, it might have been at one time. I don't remember it being like that.
The old Yankee Stadium had some bathrooms like that.
Yeah. I think the trough style bathrooms are actually really efficient and good.
Oh, they're disgusting. They don't bother you.
No, not for when there are tens of thousands of people in a place. No.
Because it's for efficiency and
I think it's like you just kind of filter in. It really helps with lines and stuff because people just squeeze together and just do what they got to do.
It's just everybody's pee mingling together.
Like there's just water constantly flowing. Basically, I think it's actually. I would argue it's probably cleaner. Actually,
yeah,
because the water's constantly moving. There's fewer like partitions, so you're not peeing on shit you're not supposed to be peeing on, and
right.
There's probably something about it's less private. It's very like old and primal, but
it is old, I think.
But I think and you get if you want to check out other dudes' dicks, you'd be able to do that while you're all around the trough. You want
cross the streams. You can cross the streams.
Ghostbusters. Yeah,
Ghostbusters cross the streams.
Holy
shit. See, women don't get to do anything like that.
No, they don't get that
you can get a little peek through the stall door, because as everyone knows, American bathrooms have those like 1/2-inch gaps on the stall door, and sometimes you accidentally make eye contact with someone. Because you're just walking by trying to like find an open stall. Sometimes the doors are shut, but the stall is unoccupied. It's like you just feel like you looked at him through the peephole.
Yeah. Sometimes you like hang like a little piece of toilet paper on a little. I've seen that move, and I've done that move.
Oh, I've never seen that.
And you hang a little toilet. If you know the bathroom has like a big gap, you just take a little piece of toilet paper, like hang it, like a little.
That is
like a shade.
I've never been so close. Actually, the worst thing is for everyone who knows what a romper is, which are those kind of like one-piece outfits. I love rompers in summertime, but the problem with a romper is you have to get completely undressed to use the bathroom, and like the public restroom fear.
Yeah, you just got to not do it when you know you're going to be out in public.
Exactly. It's like, no, if I'm wearing a romper, I'm not going to the bathroom anywhere except my house, because you just have to like fully undress.
I can't blame you for that. Yeah. No. Have you got, now here's the thing. Here's one thing. This is an interesting one for me. I'm just going to be totally candid about this. And once in a while, this doesn't happen a lot, but you get the guy, I'm not even saying at the trough style urinal. I'm saying at the individual urinals. You get the guy that looks over. You get the guy that looks over, the ganderer, right? The peeker, the peeper,
right?
Just looks. And I don't think it's necessarily a gay thing. I think sometimes it's just a curiosity thing, and I think it's standing at the urinal is awkward, especially when it's crowded. You just don't know what to do with yourself. You look over. Maybe you do it by accident.
What is there to be done?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just trying to justify it. I have a technique. This is my little wee hanging over into the thing.
Dude,
I have a side. I don't want to touch it, so I have a side thing to block it. I block it with the side of the hand, so
he's crab clawing.
You can't see it.
Wait, you crab clawing your dick?
I sort of have the hand alongside the shaft.
Oh, to hide it?
To hide it. This is what I'm doing here.
That's weird, dude.
Yeah, because I don't want anybody to see it. You guys don't do that? You guys don't have a technique?
No, you're just there. I do have to say though, every once in a while, like just in your periphery, you're seeing like a dude pee. Like
yeah.
It just
but hopefully you're not looking down.
No, you're not looking down. Like I look straight ahead, but you just
me too.
You can acknowledge that in the corner of your eye is a dude's like dick peeing.
It's like blurry in your peripheral.
Right.
Like
you just got to keep your eyes straight ahead.
Yeah, stay on target, Red 5.
Yeah,
that's what you got to do.
It is a good, now I'll say this, and I'm not guilty of this, honestly, but it is a good way to kind of, because you're always kind of, as a man, you're always curious where you stand, on like, is it average size?
Oh, sure.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like, let me just take a cross section. If you just get a consensus, where do I fit in? There is that, there's probably other ways. But if you're just doing it with the average bear that you're in public with, it's kind of, I understand it. You know what I mean? As a man, you're always
you can kind of
curious.
tell because like some dudes are way more self-conscious about that kind of stuff. Like the dudes that turn like instead of going straight at it, they like turn slightly to the right or something like that.
I do that. I definitely do that.
Okay.
I don't really want to, in case I fall on the smaller side, I don't want to.
That's okay. Yeah. You're a little shy.
I don't want to. And listen, if I was huge, if I was hung, like a really huge, I would be too, I don't, it's okay. I don't need to show that off.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why we're still having this conversation after hundreds of years though, because women are so fucking sure to make sure we still ask this question. Instead, like, I honestly don't know if it's important or not. As a 51-year-old man, I should know that, but women collectively like to keep us on our toes by keeping us guessing whether size matters.
Oh, yeah. They don't want to give you a sure answer.
I should know. We should know this.
They don't
We're
want us
grown
to
men.
No.
They collectively make sure that we have to keep guessing this.
They need some sort of power over us.
It's insane. Look how mum this she is right now.
She's giggling her ass off.
I think
she's panicking because we figured it out.
Probably up to each individual, right? Like,
It is. It 100% is.
It does because, like, okay, I'm just going to be candid.
Okay.
There's a really great episode of King of Queens about this where one of Doug's friends has, like, a big schlong and he's dating this woman who actually hates it. And they call her Tiny Giny, but that's a whole other thing. But the point being that it is entirely case by case basis because it's like there's skill involved. All right. Like you can't just go swinging a big hammer and like hang drywall. Like you did a terrible job. You put holes in everything. This is awful. You got to have skill. There's got to be finesse. So it doesn't matter. But you got to know what you're working with. You got to know what you're doing.
I think it does.
Well, exactly. I mean, there's to an extent, like it's just one of those things of like, to the average gentleman, I'm going to say, if you've got confidence and you've got the moves, you're going to be A-okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You don't have to look like the dude in the porn videos you see. Like nobody's expecting you to come out with a dick the length of my arm. All right. But you got to know what you're doing. That's what it really boils down to.
I just feel like we don't need to carry on this conversation, but I just feel like that's such a dubious answer. Because what I take away from that is like, but size doesn't hurt. You know what I mean? Like that's my takeaway from everything.
It doesn't. No, that's entirely true. It's like, no, there's nothing bad about having a big old shamlam doobly, all right? But there's nothing wrong with being average either. Like nobody's gonna walk into it's almost like Dagan, like you think someone's gonna walk into the urinal and be like, what up, baby dick? Like that's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
Look at your little micro penis.
That would be amazing to do to somebody, even if they didn't have one. Like especially a friend, but act like you're not their friend. Maybe you're at the rest stop together and you go in 5 minutes.
Baby dick, yeah.
I love
Look at your little baby dick.
Little baby dick. Now remember, fellas, everything that Mike is telling you is a lie.
Yeah.
Women,
she has sworn an oath.
Yeah.
She can't be. See, I think it would be if you had a thimble-sized wee-wee and you were really good with it, that would be a great point of pride. Yeah, like I'm not working with much, but what I got.
I got a nipple. And I'm fine.
Yeah, a micro
little
dingus.
nipple.
Yeah.
You got something to tell us, Dagan?
Micro dingus.
When you're not flaccid, it's just flush. Like it just actually goes into your body. Just goes into your body.
Ew.
Like an innie belly button.
Yeah.
That's fucked.
Belly buttons. That's a topic we haven't done before.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
For
That's
good
gonna be a
reason.
good one.
That is a good one.
I don't know. I have like a hybrid belly button.
What?
It's like a half in, half out.
Okay.
What? Okay.
All right.
It's like a hill.
You can't just be one thing or the other, can you, Mike? You always got to be fucking different in
right.
everything you do.
It's ridiculous.
Kyle, have you waited with us yet on public restrooms?
No, I don't have too much to say other than a few things here.
Okay.
Had a funny experience. I told Mike about this when we were in Logan, flying back from Boston to Virginia. That was in like a small, like one of the small little terminal bathrooms with, a couple stalls and a few urinals. And I'm at the urinal, and this guy walks in, and I could see him in the peripheral as he's walking in, and then he he walks by us to the stalls, and he pushes on the doors, and they're both locked, and then he just turns around and farts, and then walks out. And I was like, that was awesome. I loved that I saw that. I thought that was hysterical.
He left you in the stink.
He did left me in the stink. I mean, I rip ass at the urinal if I have to. It's like, that's
okay. That's a good. You're supposed to rip ass.
That's part of the social contract. Like,
it's acceptable.
I'm farting in the bathroom. There's no doubt about it.
I can't do it. I will hurt.
Dagan, not even a fart?
No, I'll hold it in to the point of my stomach hurting.
Dagan,
I can't do it.
You gotta cut loose a little.
Yeah, I think you're right. I gotta take a page out of your guys' book.
Yeah, you're gonna have like a medical emergency issue for all this stuff.
One of these days, that fart's gonna come right out of your dick. All right, you're gonna hold it for so long.
Yeah. little poop stain comes out of your.
A cartoon garden hose. The cartoon garden hose with the air bubble.
I love a good fart, but as I said, I fly too close to the sun and I fart too.
Yeah.
But I love fart.
Risky.
I love farting. I fart. I kind of fart right now.
It's a funny thing.
I don't want to risk it.
Don't you dare.
So here's a few things that I just wanted to bring up. You don't see this very often anymore, but I always hate going in. This is usually like a hotel or like a casino or whatever, like the attendant or the valet in the bathroom. Hate it.
That's weird.
Not good.
Totally unnecessary. As I got older, because it's especially something you run into in Vegas and places like that, where it's just like you'd feel bad in the beginning and like interact and give money, and then eventually it's like, no, I'm good, thanks. And it's like if this is you putting me in a situation I didn't ask to be put in the situation. I'm just trying to pee. And like, get out of here. I don't need powder. I don't need a mint. I don't need a toothpick. I don't need you to hand me the towel, which I hate.
Right. They do that.
Right. It's like, I'm good. That guy, you want to talk about someone being in the stink. Like that dude just is existing in the poop smell.
That poor
I hate that shit. I hate it. And so I wanted to throw that out there. But the other thing is the single stall bathrooms are always, when people are waiting for you, are risky. So you only probably encountered this mostly in a men's room, but you were saying women do some damage too. Is like, I hate when people are waiting for a toilet and I receive a toilet that has been destroyed. Like there's pee all over the seat or whatever. And it's like, well, I'm not cleaning this, but I'm not contributing to it, but I'm walking out of here and you don't know if I did that or not. And I hate that. I hate that. Bad. I hate being in that conundrum. It bothers me a lot. Because I don't want people to think that I would do that. And it's like, why can't you just not pee on the seat? And if you're going to pee on the seat, do something about it.
Clean it up.
And the other thing is that I don't drink so much beer anymore, where this is an experience, but I was drinking a lot of beer in Massachusetts. And it's like, I learned this about myself in my late teens, 17, 18, 19, when I started drinking beer, where it's like, I have a little baby bladder. And once I break the seal when I'm drinking beer, I'll pee on a constant basis for the rest of the night.
Me too. Same.
And to like every 15 or 20 minutes a lot of my memories of being in public bathrooms are of that, of people like bartenders eventually noticing and being like, are you okay? Or like people that are like seated next to the bathroom, or they're like, what are you doing? Like, and you have to kind of like just navigate it. Also, I have a very clear memory. I used to go to this, bar in San Francisco I really loved called Hobson's Choice. I don't know if it's still there actually, but it was in the Haight, and it was on Haight actually. And there were like two bathrooms, like a men's and a women's bathroom there, but they were each just individual rooms. And I had a shit once, and then like this dude was like knocking on the door and like, I gotta get, what's going on in there. And then like I walk out, he's like, oh shit, like when you walked in. I'm like, I'm sorry.
That's so good, dude.
Disgrace you.
Yeah, and I'm like, I had a shit, in this bath. It wasn't ideal.
I just put you on blast. That was awesome.
He was out of line. It's like, it is a bathroom.
Yeah, he was drunk, and he was just being an asshole to me.
No, that is like the middle school fear, though, of like you're going poop and someone walks in like, oh, someone's taking a shit in here. And it's like,
no, I'm not.
Yeah, like I don't remember ever. I'm sure I did, but like when I was in school, elementary school, middle school, high school, whatever, I don't remember pooping at school. I'm sure I probably had to at some point, because your body like generates rhythms. I poop the same times typically every day, which is weird, but it's true. And like you can develop and push that to a more convenient time ultimately, I think. So I never really experienced that too. I was always my fear. There was a place I used to go to see concerts in San Francisco, the Warfield, which is a famous venue. And like they basically are one of those places with what you were saying earlier with no doors on the toilet. So it's like, if you have to shit at the Warfield, have fun. I mean, people are just gonna be walking by and seeing you and be talking about eye contact. You have whole entire conversations with them. And I've always been afraid of that. So I try to really not, if I know I'm going to be in public, I basically don't eat or drink. Because I don't, when I switch over to old fashions and bourbon and all of that, in my 20s and into my 30s, like that dries you out. Like I can go an entire night out without peeing. But yeah, beer just runs through me. And I just, people have been over time, even Mike and I have talked about it. I am having a physical next month where I'll bring it up again, but it's like, I pee so much sometimes where they're like, are you okay? Like, have you gotten that checked out? And it's like, I'm telling you, like, this has been going on for so long that it can't possibly be like an abnormal thing. You know, it's no different than when I was in my early 20s or whatever.
It doesn't mean maybe you should have gotten it looked at in your 20s, though. You know, it's like my leg has been broken since I was 5 years old. It's fine. It's been this way the whole time. And it's like, sir, maybe you should have got your leg set. Perhaps.
Well, there is something about beer.
Had it looked at.
There's something about beer. It runs roughshod on your bladder versus other alcohols. I don't know what that is. Because does soda do that to you, Kyle?
No, not really. Soda. Like not even water really does that to me, which is interesting. It's just beer. I don't know if it's because it's like cold, but so is the water. I don't really know. But that's the thing where if I drink 2 beers, I can basically get away. If I drink 3 beers, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom and then it's game on. Like I was in situations in San Francisco, especially during the yellow cab days where I would like be in a cab and I'd be like coming home from a bar and we'd be in traffic or we'd be like, you got to just like bring me to my friend's house. Cause like, I'm not going to make it. And actually my friend Nate, who you guys met at the wedding, who was a good friend of mine in San Francisco for many years. He lived in the Haight off of the Judah N line, and which is one of the subways. And I used to, on a regular basis, like he would have worked from home as well after he left IGN. And there were times where I like had a shit or something and I'd be like, I'm just coming over. So you're like halfway home and I gotta poop so bad right now.
That's good to have a friend like that.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a real friend right there.
So yeah, that's all but yeah, especially the valet attendant thing, I just had to bring that up because I hate it.
Yeah, that's a good thing to bring up.
Can I ask for the attendant, how out of line would it be if he was like, nice wiener, sir, and he's like handing you something? That would be pretty out of line. He's like, nice dick, sir.
Fishing for a tip.
Well, yeah, you know, like
it depends how they say it. You know, if it's like a really nice, fancy British man, perhaps, I'm like, all right.
You might be able to pull it off, yeah. You're
good
right,
dick,
with the right accent.
Yeah, good, like, okay. Good dick.
Yeah.
Now, Micah, ladies' rooms don't have these attendants? You've never seen
I've never been to an establishment so fancy as to have
Cracker Barrel does not have that.
I have, like, I think once in my life I've used a Cracker Barrel restroom. I would not recommend it. That was like on a road trip. I wouldn't go in a Cracker Barrel bathroom if you paid me to.
That's funny.
But no, I've never been in an establishment so posh as to have bathroom attendants. But I also think some of this is probably security detail. When Con's talking about casinos, it's like, yeah, do you just not want people doing coke in here? So like you plant a guy in here so that people are a little more buttoned up.
Yeah, but I would rather them just post a guard in there. And then you don't have any expectation that you have to interact with this person. You know, they're just standing there looking straight ahead.
The guard might be lonely too. If you put a security guard in there, you think he's not also going to be lonely?
He's checking out everyone's
stuck in a bathroom all night.
He's good.
He's comparing, he's contrasting. All the same.
Yeah, get somebody that can enjoy it.
He's like, get that mole checked out.
He's
that's awesome. Well, I think the women have to weigh in with us and let us know, like, are there female bathroom attendants? I don't know. I honestly don't know if that's a thing.
I'm sure there
has to be, right?
And what's funny is that you're right. These are nicer places, but the nicest places I've ever been in didn't have these. Like the Jefferson is nicer than almost any casino in Vegas.
Well, that's where I'm talking about. It is kind of like a tongue-in-cheek way of just keeping an eye on people. Yeah, you're probably right. Because I don't think anyone at the Jefferson is expecting us to do coke in the bathroom. You know, it's really not that clientele.
Yeah, throw up everywhere. Yeah.
That too. I mean, part of it in a place like that, you'd also just expect, if someone really made a mess of the bathroom, you want to be on it immediately So
Right.
how better than to just have a guy who lives in there?
Someone who's on the job.
He lives in there. Yeah.
Unless
He's
it
like,
was
this is
the,
my home.
This is where I
He's like, treat
live.
my home with respect.
Yeah.
You know what it makes me think of? The blind bathroom attendant from Austin Powers. You haven't seen anything at all.
Anything at all.
Anything at all. Micah, I was just thinking about this a couple of weeks ago. I was saying to Helene, if it wasn't for you, I would still think Cracker Barrel only exists on highway signs and that the brick and mortar thing itself doesn't exist, because I've never seen one. I've only seen signs for Cracker Barrel, which is very weird. I
We
couldn't
gotta
tell
get
you
you
where
to one.
Cracker Barrel is, but I see signs
Dagan,
everywhere.
you'd love it.
Yeah, I had to look one up, and it's like an hour and a half away from me.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you and Dustin should go on your date.
Yeah, that's what
Oh,
we should
that's
do.
right. It's Dustin
we should make a whole day out of that. Yeah.
If you haven't seen the gift shop Bradley, you'd love it.
Yeah.
Okay,
I don't
they
know that
have
you'd
great. They have
love
all
it.
this old fashioned can. He'd love it. They have old fashioned candy. Dustin would be loving
Dude,
it too.
I've-
He's not even taking him to the Keeleys. All right, so like you got to take him
I'm
somewhere.
sure it's true. I'm not. My grandparents used to live in Vegas, and we would drive there like twice a year. I have seen all those kind of places that you can imagine, all their little gift shops and all your little gross candy. I've seen it all, Micah.
Bro, you don't like the old fashioned, the tricolor coconut strips?
No.
Oh,
You don't like
my
coconut
Let him
patties?
be. Just let him be.
Let me be. Let me eat
He
my
would
gorilla
like
jerky.
the crack. They brought back the campfire menu, Brad. It's back.
Okay. I don't
They
know
still
what
got
that
chicken
means.
fried steak, right? They actually have
Oh.
chicken fried steak.
Oh yeah.
They do. They have chicken fried steak,
Nobody
chicken fried
has that
chicken.
anymore.
Oh
Chicken
my god,
fried
the,
chicken,
the,
baby.
the Thursday turkey lunch special, Brad. I'm telling you, you and Dustin go to Cracker Barrel on Thursday and get the turkey lunch. It's
But
outstanding.
it's like the Cracker Barrel is like towards Nevada, and it's like
Oh, it's
we're not
that
going
far?
anywhere. Yeah, it's more inland. I'm like,
I can't
I'm
believe
going
you're saying
north
that
to
Dustin
LA.
isn't worth it. I
he's
don't know
not
how you
worth
could
it
say
for
that
Cracker
to
Barrel.
him.
He just
Oh
wants to go.
my
All he
God.
wants to do is go to In-N-Out. That's all he
Oh.
wants to do.
All
Who
he wants to
doesn't?
do is spend time with you, Brad.
I know. At the Cracker Barrel, we're not gonna have time to do that.
It doesn't matter
We're
where
gonna be
you
at Jeff
are.
Keighley's birthday party, so we're gonna be busy.
You guys are gonna be just.
Mm.
You guys are gonna be cuddling. I think.
That's right. Sharing a bed.
I'd
Absolutely.
love for you guys to share a bed. I'd love
You want
that.
to share it with us?
Yeah.
Always
That
got
would
room
be
for another.
amazing.
Wow. What kind? What do you got? A California King or something? You got something
For you, yeah.
Nice.
They'll make
Absolutely.
it happen.
Yeah, we'll make it happen. For Colin, yeah. Absolutely.
That sounds wonderful.
I'd love to think the two of them are sharing a twin extra long.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bunk beds. We have bunk beds.
Oh hell yeah, dog.
I got top though.
When's he
Oh.
coming? Is that soon?
Wink.
Is he coming out there?
Yeah, he's coming in June, early June.
Oh, he's okay next month.
Oh, he's coming. All right.
Oh, he's
I really do love that this podcast has brought people together. Not only have Colin and I found love, but Dustin and Brad with their bromance.
Yeah, they found
It's
love as
really
well.
something
Yeah.
special.
That's right.
love on the spectrum. Sorry, Brad, that's not right.
No, at this company, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the
Please.
spectrum in some way here.
No doubt.
Oh, 100. Watching that show makes me realize that I am definitely on the spectrum. I don't know why it took that show for me to realize, but I mean, I don't know how high or low I'm on the spectrum, but I definitely have. It's like, I guess everybody is. To some
Everyone's got a
degree.
little bit.
I think so.
Sprinkle.
Yeah, it's a spectrum.
It's
Yeah.
the spectrum.
That's the whole point.
Right. Which is fair. I got one bathroom anecdote going out of this, which I have to share with you guys because as you're talking, I realized it probably wasn't until my 30s where I realized that the flush handle kick was a thing. I guess in the
always.
rare event I went number 2 in a public bathroom, I was using my hand. Are they designed for that? Because I feel like they're pretty high.
No, I don't think it's designed for that. And people get mad if you do it, but I'm flushing with my foot for as long as I'm able.
I don't
all
even
right,
know-
for as long as I can get these gams up high enough, I'm flushing with my foot.
I have short legs. Like, it's hard for me to Johnny Cage that shit, but I'm doing it every time.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? I never
Yeah.
knew. I guess it was a movie or something where I first learned about it, because how else would I know so late until my adulthood? But I was like, oh my God. And then one of those things you realize, like, oh my God, I'm really late to the party here. I never knew this was a thing. It makes so much sense. You'd rather the rubber of your shoe on that than your precious pause, right? Like,
That's right.
right. So I don't know. I was hoping to catch you guys out there like, oh my God, that's a thing. But I'm the only idiot. All right. So
Well,
that's
you
confirmed.
do remind me though, Dagan, there is nothing worse than when the automatic flush is somewhat delayed and you say, wait a minute, is it an automatic flush? And you turn, and as soon as you turn, it flushes and you're like, the mist? Because it's like when you walk into the bathroom, you make a mental note, like automatic flush, don't turn around. But sometimes you're like, it's taking so long because I want to make sure that it flushed. And it's like, and then you like peek over your shoulder and it's like, it washes over you. Horrible.
Very important point. I'm glad you brought up the automatic flush. The other thing is the push button flush now. Well, not now. Maybe that came somewhere in between the handle and automatic. You can't really kick that unless you use like your heel.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's so tiny. So I feel like that was a remedy for them. Like, stop kicking our toilets. Right. And before automatic flush. So those are always a big, because you got to hit it. You kind of got to hit it with your finger. But that ensures that you wash your hands, and that's a good thing.
You could use your nose. You could always press the button with your nose.
Your chin.
Or something else too.
It's true. You definitely
have
could.
options.
You definitely could.
Drop a tit right on it. That lady who can like break a watermelon with her tits.
Yeah.
She just slams it down on top
Cracks
of it.
the toilet. Yeah.
That's a way to die though, bro. Like they always say, if you see a crack in your toilet, replace it immediately. Because like any time that thing could just shatter underneath you, you could die.
Oh, I thought you were going to go with dying from the tit falling on your face or something like that. You're talking about cracking it. I was like, yeah, that's not a bad way to go, I guess.
It could happen. If you saw those tits, I think it would have been a bad way to go. Those things were, God.
Yeah.
But they were breaking watermelons, all right? Like, they were something.
Dumbbells.
You know what's funny? Every day, I think literally every day in my life, I have a Shark Tank invention idea. And I just thought of another one.
Okay.
Why not make the kick handle on a public toilet be activated so you hit it up rather than down? This way people with shorter legs could still, you don't have to get on top of it to come down. In other words, have the action for the flush go upwards.
Why not just have the flush thing on the floor where you push with your foot?
Why not?
Wow. Brad, the inventor
pedal.
over here.
Give me the money.
All right.
Send me a Shark
Damn
Tank.
it, Brad. Damn it.
Let's go.
That's actually a good. All right. You one-up me on that one, but I appreciate it. This is the spirit of Shark Tank, right? I'm not good at coming up with inventions. I'm sure they would tell me to go scratch my every day.
No. You're an ideas man. Like George Lucas, but you need someone to help shape it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
the dialogue
Refine
is
it,
not alien.
So you don't go too far.
Yeah.
Oh, we didn't even mention beach bathrooms, like where it's just like a seat with a hole under it.
Yeah.
Like there's no flush or anything.
No.
You're just
People just use the
pooping over a
ocean
pit.
at that
Yeah,
point.
just pee in the ocean. It's fine.
no, God.
There's
have
a
some
whole lot
dignity.
worse things in that ocean. Like
Yeah.
everything alive in it. They're all horrible. I don't feel bad for those aliens getting a little piss in their
Yeah,
I'm
mouth or
all about
whatever.
pee in
peeing
their
in the
mouths.
ocean. I'm all about peeing in the ocean. When I see a line at the beach bathroom, I'm like, what is happening? Why aren't people just peeing? Like, don't poop in the ocean. That's a bad.
No, why,
Unless
just,
you're far
just
out.
poop in it too.
Yeah, there's everything in there.
Why don't you just poop in it, Dagan? You may as well.
Yeah, you're surrounded by fish poop.
I would rather poop in the ocean than use the public bathroom. Right in front of the lifeguard.
Yeah, I would poop in the like. I've never done it, but pooping in the ocean would probably be you just let it go and then you just kind of
Yeah, it's nature's bathroom, dude.
Well, you got to take off your
Yeah,
shorts.
well,
There's no
yeah,
way
you
she's
gotta, like-
snaking
you
away.
just roll
on
them down
Sure.
halfway
you could
over
probably
your cheeks
just
and you're good to go.
you probably just poop and see what
You
happens.
just poop. I haven't done it, but you can just poop.
Brad's done it.
I am
Brad
not
had a little too
I
much
actually have not
confidence in
done
that
that.
answer.
I don't get that adventurous with pooping. I value my toilet.
You talking about porta potties though at the beach, Micah? Is that what you're saying? Like the
Oh
construction?
no, I'm talking about like the camp style. Like it's a bathroom with stalls, but like it's just a seat over darkness. There's no
I don't
flushing
know if I've
involved or
ever
anything. It's
seen-
just a seat over
I
a
do know
pit.
what you're talking about. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
what
like
you're
think
saying.
of like a campground bathroom. It's not a porta john though. Like it is just like
It's a
pit.
structure,
Yeah, it's like a step
Yeah.
up from a porta
but
potty.
it's okay.
You know, oh my god, yeah,
That's bad.
horrendous.
No,
Yeah,
because
it's
then you're
not
dealing
good.
with spiders too, and forget it. That's just what. Now we're dealing with
Yeah, we're getting
spiders.
spider
and
gonna bite your ass.
germs.
Yeah, we're getting too far. We're getting too far.
Well, who was that last week? Oh, you guys were nobody was on. It was Gene and Cog. Gene was telling a story about how in Guam it was a serious issue for rats to come up through the plumbing
Whoa.
and potentially bite your ass. But was he saying rats or snakes?
Although I think snakes, because like he said, Guam has a major problem with
Think it was
snakes when he was
snakes.
doing the like junior ROTC type stuff, and like they'd have you crawling around, like snakes just crawl right over you. Like it's horrifying how many snakes there are.
Yeah, that's fucked
That's
up.
just wrong.
Would die.
Why would you
would
subject
literally
people
die.
to that? I'm sorry, Guam people. What do you call Guam? What do you call people from Guam? Guamese?
Guamish?
Guamish?
This is very funny.
The Guamish. Yeah, that sounds good.
What if you were part Guam and part Amish? Then you would be Guamish, right?
And you're running a nice little Amish buffet, and then you also are like, and here, and you've got, I don't know, something tropical on the side. I don't know much about Guam.
It's Guamanian, I guess.
Okay, that makes sense. And thank you for researching it. I should have done that.
Guamish is way better, though.
I like Guamish.
They
That
should
is
have gone with
way
that.
better. Yeah, that's awesome.
Guamanian. All right, you guys, I've had enough. How do you guys feel? I'm satisfied.
Yeah,
Thank you for doing
I frankly have had enough. We've
Yeah.
talked about poo and piss
Let's
for
roll.
way too long.
You guys killed it on that topic.
I can't believe how far we took that too.
Yeah.
Brad showed
Yeah.
out on this one. I was surprised.
Yeah, I could believe it.
Passionate topic.
I could believe it.
Yeah,
You
the
guys are
part where Brad said he had a basketball hoop in his bathroom at home and he poops through it, that was insane.
Yeah, dude. Hey, man, gotta work on your skills at all times.
absolutely.
He never stops grinding.
Yeah, never
this
stop
man.
grinding.
He's picking up the Xbox pickups with Maddie. He's fucking volunteering for shit left and right.
That's
Brad
right.
never
Yeah, Brad's
stops.
hungry.
Never stop.
He's hungry.
That's right.
Nurture that talent, my friends. All right,
Oh,
I feel
real
ready
quick.
to land this plane if you guys do. Let me go around for goodbyes.
Wait, real quick from Micah.
Oh,
We
sure.
got
Oh,
final
of course.
There's a really funny YouTube video. You have to Google "want some broccoli
I'm gonna put it
bathroom," and it's the top result.
Okay.
And it says like making healthy friends or something, and it's a guy in the bathroom offering some dude broccoli under the stall, and it's one of my favorite videos in the whole world.
What?
Dude.
He's like knocking on the stall with his finger, and he's like, "Hey," and the guy's like, "What?" He's like, "You want some broccoli?" He just smacks it out of his hand.
Oh my God, I have it queued up for right after the show.
It's one of the funniest videos I've ever seen.
What the
I love
hell?
it.
The guy like hits his hand. He's like, "No, dude."
That's hilarious. What?
Oh man.
It all came full circle back to Kurt eating the apple in the bathroom. Like, it's just, there's something very special about that.
Yeah, you know what? Bring food back to the bathroom. Make
That's not-
bathrooms food again. we're workshop it.
Yeah, why not?
Brad will give me some ideas. He's good at that.
Yeah. It's my
That's
talent.
All right, Micah, I want to say goodbye to you first, heading into the weekend. A little
Yes.
TGIF, thank God. This week has been so weird. I'm happy. We got a couple of days to chill. What's going on with you this weekend, my friend?
This weekend, rainy weather, so I'm going to try and grill tonight because I don't think I'm going to be able to grill this weekend. $100 million idea just came up with Bradley. The piss switch. It's a sandwich that you sell in the bathroom. Like it's a vending machine.
Piss
switches.
Yeah.
Yeah, the piss switch. And they sell sandwiches in a vending machine in the bathroom. I want to workshop that with you, Brad.
Okay. Yeah. I think that can go somewhere. There's
I think
potential.
so too.
Yeah.
All right.
Speaking of Shark Tank, I think that's a $1 billion.
Dude, we got a lot of
idea,
bathroom ideas for these guys.
So many.
Yeah.
So many.
Brad, what do you think, my friend? It was good seeing you. It was good having you on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you. Of course, good to talk to Colin and Micah as well. I talk to Colin or Micah all the time though, so I'm used to this chaos. This is normal for me. I've embraced it. But yeah, I'm fucking tired. I only slept like 3.5 hours. I don't know why.
Wow.
Just one of those weird days where I woke up really early and I couldn't go back to bed. So maybe I'm going to take a little fat cat nap.
Yeah, you gotta get your rest.
Yeah.
You gotta get your rest.
Got a little cat nap maybe.
You one of those guys when you take a nap. This used to happen to me, but doesn't in my old age. But when I was younger, when I was even your age, I would say, I would get like a real jet lag feeling if I slept during the day. Like if I was going along, slept, and then wake up and had to go along, I would get like a feeling like I missed something.
Like groggy.
It was really a jet lag, essentially.
Yeah.
For years,
Kind
I
of.
had that.
I think sometimes I've felt like that. Not all the time though. But sometimes. Maybe if I sleep too much or something.
Yeah.
If I sleep like an hour, no, I'm usually like fine or something like that. But if I sleep like overboard, like 4 hours, then yeah, it could be a little groggy, I would say.
Sometimes you just need that nap. Sometimes you feel it coming on and you give into it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What kind of nap, man?
I love it. Kyle, it's good seeing you, my dude.
Yeah, good to see you too. Thanks for having me. Yeah, we're going to be off to Walmart now. I got to get.
I'm going to eat my quesadilla first.
You can eat, I got to get some soil. Keep this train rolling. Yeah.
Nice.
But yeah, looking forward to this weekend. Got some work to do, but going to rest. Otherwise, I'll probably take a nap tonight. Actually. So.
Oh. So going to sleep?
Yeah.
I like to. I do a 9 o'clock to midnight nap sometimes. It's really nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh, dude, he'll disappear upstairs and then he'll come down the stairs with his face. He's like, and he's got his pillow and his blanket, and he comes and sits on the couch and promptly falls asleep.
That's awesome. Dude.
Oh, you're napping on the couch.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. That's sick. I like that. With the pups probably there too.
Oh yeah. Everyone's.
Everyone's there. The puppy
yeah, we call it
pile.
the puppy pile because they both get on top and.
Yeah, that's good shit.
Yeah, they like to cuddle. So
that's good shit. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for having me. Good to see everyone. Hope everyone out there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Be well. Thank you.
You're going to Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Couple of things to look forward to: the bathrooms.
Yeah, the bathrooms.
The guy you make fun of that's going to check your receipt.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, the troglodyte.
We gotta go to the supermarket too. We haven't gone grocery shopping in a while. So tonight we're going to do that on the way back, I think. And some exciting times ahead for the Moriarty family.
Nice.
Oh, very.
Kyle, just remember to be nice to people on the spectrum. It's very important.
Yeah. Have a little empathy, Colin, all right?
I have empathy.
These people work hard. I tell you, our local BJ's actually, it used to seem like they had employees that would check your receipts, and they were pretty vigilant about it. It looked like they were actually checking, against what you had in the cart and stuff. Then at some point, it became the elderly, seemingly volunteer people that were like really old, and like, are you even paying these people?
They must be paying them. I mean, I'm sure they're paying them.
I don't know.
By minimum wage, I'm guessing.
You know what? That became a big thing out here at the emergency rooms. I'm not talking about urgent care. I'm talking about the hospital emergency rooms, front desk. Your first point of contact in the hospital. Definitely elderly volunteer types. It's like they're too old. They feel like they're too old to be working. Like clearly in your 80s. So immediately you feel bad for them that they're even on the job.
Why are you even here? Yeah, just on the job.
Well, it's the best place for them to be should something happen. They're already there.
That's true.
That's a good point.
True.
That is
Mitigating risk.
a very good point. I'll take it. All right, guys. Little housekeeping. And then we're out of here, my friends. Oh, I got me this week. I don't even know what the hell's going on. I'm spinning. It's one of those things where I'm just doing I'm not working a full-time job right now. I'm doing a bunch of little things and gearing up for other things. And it feels like that's just so much more involved and more labor than just working a 40-hour-a-week job, one 40-hour-a-week job. I need a little structure in my life. That's the thing I'm saying. Like the last 4 or 5 weeks have been so formless. I need a little. That's why it's nice to be like 1 o'clock on Friday. I'm going to be recording with the boys and girls. That's like the only structure I have right now. I feel like a high school kid. It's like, just give me a little. I need like discipline or something. I don't know.
You need enrichment.
I need something.
Yeah, his enclosure lacks enrichment.
It's a lot of time with myself, which I think is also playing into why I realize I'm more on the spectrum than I ever thought I was. It was like there's a lot of quiet time of just, reflective, and it's like, oh, you're definitely somewhere on the spectrum higher than you thought you were. It's like everything's making so much sense. There's a lot of self-learning going on right now. So there are positives. There are positives about it. Patreon.com/LastStandMedia for early ad-free access, as always. And what is the link for the merch? Hold on a second. It's covered up. LastStandMedia. LastStandMedia.store, excuse me. Has the merch. Cut it out. Edit it. LastStandMedia.store has the merch. What's going on with merch, Micah? You haven't been on in a while. I haven't touched base with you about that.
Oh, yeah. So we do have the new blue Stealth Sacred shirts still in stock. That was the last item that we released. But yeah, there's still the assortment of shirts. We restocked the colorful Sacred shirts. So those should be available in all sizes. Maybe 4X is gone. but that's quite a rare size. I think I've sold 3 of them since we started the merch store. So, but yeah, most things should be available in most sizes. Please go check it out.
Woo! All right, enough said. All right, boys and girls. For Carlster, Bradster, and Mikester, I am LSM Moriarty saying thank you so much out there for joining us today. You're appreciated. We love you. Tune in next week. The weeks go fast. We'll be here again doing this before you even know it. In the meantime, go listen to your second favorite podcast. Now get out. Peace.
Constellation is a product of Last Stand Media and Collins Last Stand LLC and is proudly recorded in the USA. The show was conceived by and is directed and hosted by me, Colin Moriarty. My co-host is my brother, Dagan Moriarty. The show is produced by Last Stand's executive producer, Dustin Furman. All Last Stand theme music is by Ramon Narvaez, and all of our graphics and logos are by Dagan Moriarty. As you know, all of Last Stand Media's podcasts, including Constellation, are fan-funded on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia. The following names are at the producer level on Patreon, our highest support tier, and we're infinitely grateful for your thoughtful and kind contributions to our independent endeavor.
Thank you.